Final Table Sunday. How you guys doing here on TCH Live? Final table of our $150 Mega Stack Freezeout. Had 38 entries today, a $5,700 prize pool. First place, going to get $1,820. Second, $1,250. Third, $940. Fourth, $720. Fifth place pays $520. And sixth pays $450. So $150 Mega Stack. Our annual Sunday tournament, so back here to call the final 8. Is Will and Austin Newcomer going to fold. Got Aaron back here at the final table, all pure. And we got Storm shoving all in. Let's see if we can read his cards here. Here for about 51,000 with the blinds, 25-5. And Ed gonna probably have to call here. It's unfortunate that he's gonna be up against the hand that he is, but just so often this can be a really desperate shove to try to pick up the pot. And all right, heads up all in here on the first hand of the final table tonight. Make sure to hit that like button, click subscribe as well a draw for each player. King here on the turn is, you need to see a queen or a 10. Actually, they're going to get to chop this one up. Kings and jacks with an ace. Board pairs. And Storm will come out a little bit ahead on the deal, but would have been much, much more comfortable doubling that up and had his opponent drawing pretty thin. So feel free to say hello to us here in the chat box. Again, my name is Mike Youngwood back here for Tournament Sunday. We had the 1-3 PLO with Fireman Scott last night. That was a fantastic game. I can't wait for you guys to see the highlights if you weren't able to join us for it, because we had the Houston crowd in there, and boy, we got a lot of chips splashing around. So it was a lot of great action, good fun. We had Levi Moreno give just outstanding analysis on the great game of Pot Limit Omaha. So it's, one you can take out your notebook out, jot down a few points, think about maybe improving your Pot Limit Omaha game. As Aaron back here, he finished second last week. What do you know? He's got chips again. I think this guy's pretty good. All right, we've got MJ down here. Going to fold the suited Jack 10 in late position. Kristen folding. So we've got Ed completing. Well, actually, Kristen calling here on the button with King 9 offsuit. So 3 ways to a flop pot of about 46K. And Aaron, about a 2.5x raise up front. No, I'm not a huge advocate for calling with King 9, suited or non, but oftentimes when you get in these tournament final tables, there's a lot of playable hands on the button that you can just sort of play position on. So we'll see if that works out here as ramp up and load up our flop here. We've got the 7-4. No, we got Ed. Ed's out of the hand, so I think we're just... Are we heads up here? So I thought one of the blinds called. Okay, so we had, looks like MJ must have called with the 10 jack suited. We're definitely going to have 3 players here once we go here to our flop. So ace 8 suited of clubs, jack 10 of spade. The king 9 with the king of spades and the 9 of clubs. So with the blinds and the big blind ante, that's about 12.5. That's right in the middle before any of the cards come out. So we saw Aaron open at just about 12,000. And especially up front when you've got big chips, I like the sizing of it just to be able to come in and establish okay, hey, gonna be the aggressor here if we're feeling people squeeze into finishing that 6th place spot at 450. Perfect time to come out and attack. And we'll see what kind of board texture he gets. kind of a tough spot because he's got a short stack on the button. So decent flop for MJ. Kristen's going to flop top pair. So if we get a C bet, we are probably going to get call. So he leads 21,000 here. Pot's about 27.5. MJ's not going to float. Kristen's definitely not going to fold here. So she's got about 52K back. So any bet here from this point, effectively all in. And Aaron could barrel here and going to get instantly called, but shoves and, yep. Standard push. Definitely a call with Kristen's hand. And get a brick here for Aaron, so that'll take a decent chunk out of his stack, because that's like the fine line you have to cross with raising light on a full table. It's just sometimes you're going to have an opponent that just has a hand that you're just not going to be able to get him to fold, or not run quite good enough to bank any of your semi-bluffs. But so Aaron will go down to about 136K. Kristen's going to double up. Just about 175K for the former Southern Illinois Saluki. Big Saluki pride. Continue here as blinds 25 or 2.5K, 5K with a 5K big blind ante against 6th place 450. So we're right on the bubble. See, King 9's not the most optimal hand. 2 from the money, I think ICM wise, but like I said, sometimes when you're on the button, your hand range is going to open up a little bit more to try to outplay your opponent. Just try to outflop him. Say hello to Jason. Hello, there's 3 in. Ernesto, the way. 1 in the dome saying hello. Get to hit that like button. Almost over 9,000 subscribers. We could get that done here by the end of the night. That's just like a handful of you. Fold it down here to the blinds, Will and Aaron, and we'll get a walk. Always kind of what you like to see after giving some of the chips away. As a couple more coming back, because so all pure, the chip leader here, there. You can see him on the right of your screen. The white hoodie, the white hat. Pretty dominating chip position after some shifting of the stacks here. Steven saying Mike having some line and Kugels tonight. Wisconsin's own. Cheers to you, my friend. It's a pretty good summertime beer. As raised up here by Will, as let's see if All Pure has a hand he can defend with, and doesn't look like it, but so tomorrow gonna have our 5-5 no limit hold'em cash game, as we do every Monday. Special guest host Bart Hansen in the house to call the action. Forward to just kind of taking a breather. Had a lot of stuff going on this week. We had the tournament final table last Sunday, our 5-5 game, or 1-3 game, and then we had the 5-hour PLO stream last night with Fireman Scott. And I don't know, you get 5 hours of PLO, it's the right amount to get the right number of hands. That I think within like 100 hand session, you just see the variance live in living color. So that was a very fun one to do. As MJ under the gun, going to raise with King Jack off. Is going to get it through as nobody with really a playable hand. David saying, hey, another awesome stream. Great commentary. Hello from Camp Humphrey, South Korea. Glad we can give you something entertaining to watch. Faraj saying, how you doing today, Mike? Not so bad. We had a pretty big field here. Our tournament field's kind of bumping back up here for this tournament. We had about 38 total entries. A lot of ships flying once we went to 1,000, 2,000, and These are our last 8. As Ed, one or two off the under the gun, going to open here for 16K. Storm going to push in his last 41K. Ed's pretty much priced in here to call. It's like 25K more. He opened for 16. It's, dude, what? What? Well, I have to talk to Ed here. That's, you open 16, about another 25K with the blinds and the ante. Like, you're getting such a ridiculous price that he can flip your hand up and show you aces. No, okay, maybe aces is probably a stretch. But even if he showed me kings, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm getting a pretty good price to try to bust. But nonetheless, I mean, often here you're also on the bubble, so chip conservation can be a priority for some players. So rather than try to take the gamble, just conserve. But, you know, hey, 25-minute levels for this tournament. You got a lot of room to splash around. As Aaron, small raise, going to pick up the blinds and the ante. So, all right, our payouts again. First, 1,820. Second, 1,250. Third, 940. Fourth, 720. Fifth, 520. And fourth, 450. Let me double check that last one. Yep, fifth place, 520. So with 8 left, next 2 spots will get no cash out the door as they have to hit the shower. So if you guys aren't familiar with that bit on Twitter, I think it was like last WSOP. A guy named Slimerica just started roasting people on Twitter after they would like bust out, and some of it was pretty intense, but there was some really good humor to be had. But Aaron with another good hand as he'll raise up front here with ace queen, all pure, going to call pair of 4s. MJ here on the button with some 5. What? Okay. Another spot where probably, like, you know, stack preservation. He's also looking at 2 of the stacks that can bust them. That I can probably understand that. That makes sense. Is Aaron's going to flop top pair, top kicker. I'm going to size up here with 3 players with 43.5 in the pocket to make it, yep, about 25K. Kristen going to give up bottom pair as cheap price to call out of the big blind. Took a flop, but not going to continue as. All right, if you are just checking us out here for the first time, go ahead, click subscribe, turn on notifications. We do live streams on Mondays and Thursdays with our No Limit Cash games, and back to doing this every Sunday with a $150 Mega Stack Freezeout. Only here on TCH Live. So, see how many more Pot Limit Omaha streams we do, as we're going to at least try to make sure we get it once a month. So we got Storm here with about 67K. With blinds down 3,000. 6,000, effectively 10 big blinds. And yeah, that's going in the middle every day. Ed here with a good fold, though. Just near with the ace deuce. It's not getting a really good price in a pretty marginal spot. So all pure here with 22% of the chips in play. Everybody else, I mean, just right within punchers. A chance there with. Most of the stack depths are pretty equal between 4th to 8th. Or All right, so 15K in the middle before with the blinds and the antes. All pure looking at ace-2 suited. Does pretty standard open here at this point at 15K. Kristen, pretty standard call here when the button queen-jack suited. Will, a new arrival to Austin, saw my Vikings mask today. I said, "Are you a Vikings fan?" And I said, "Just long suffering." So I could hear it in his voice. They share the same pain. But said he moved to Austin, lived around the Twin Cities for a couple of years, or probably for quite a long time actually. But bet at 25K as we'll get a C bet and a fold here about the other two players in the hand. It's now the players just to kind of keep an eye on between Ed, Kristen, Gary, and Storm, as these are 4 short stacks. Is enough in the middle that there's a good incentive to try to pick up some of these blinds and antes, but your flexibility to be able to make too many moves is pretty much limited to like position raises. And got Gary back here. I think he's been on this table before. Ed here with a good raise here. It gets folded to him. He's just going to get a fold out here so many times that often it really doesn't matter what your 2 cards are once you get in the button at this stage, that you just increase your EV, chipping up with just small little jabs. You don't have to go for the knockout punches just to pick up chips to survive rounds. And with 2 to the bubble, that's what a lot of these bottom 4 players and stacks are trying to keep accomplished. Just stay afloat and hope to pick up a hand. Jason Lee said, "I was born in South Korea and I live out in Saskatoon." I think we were talking about that the other week, that when I was like 19, I got to play like 5-10 limit hold'em in some really small casino there in Saskatoon. I just forgot what the name of it was. All right, king deuce offsuit, queen 8 suited, 6-5 suited. Nobody flops anything, but first one to take a lead is all pure. Get a barrel it and get a fold out. There's probably good instincts there that it's really unlikely that any of his opponents would have limped with a pair or not raised up here with an ace, or at least showing some strength. That there's just board runouts like that when you're as big in chips as he is at this point, that you're just like, okay, here's free money. Mitch Hecht asking, is this live? Yes, we are on a 10 to 15 minute delay, but commenting on it as you hear it. Min raise here by KJ with the king jack offsuit. I think a second time he's had this. This exact scenario is, here comes the storm. Going to defend here with ace-9 offsuit. So standard. Here we go to a flop. Top 2 here for KJ, or excuse me, for MJ with KJ. Sneaky check is 9 pairs up. We'll see if Storm. Nope. Not ready to bet it yet. Tough decision. I mean, he's got only 64K. I think if he's obviously, if he's got more chips, there's more he can try to attempt to bluff catch with. Because MJ could just totally check flop ace-10 and then bet turn, but it's just, you know, a check is either a trap or just complete error. And picking it up there, that MJ's probably got a better hand than most. Kevin, Jason said, yeah, the Dakota Dunes, was like 19 years old. I was out fishing just out of high school. Maybe by like a year or two, did some fishing around the area. I absolutely actually love the area because you go up there, you can like smell the air. You're just like, this smells like earth. The fishing was fantastic, and not a soul to be seen for hours upon hours on the drive. It was pretty neat, but even the XM radio by that point, I think I was about like 2004, 2005, wasn't picking up too much. All right, Kristen had raised off one of the under the gun with ace-3 suited. MJ got a pretty good cut price to defend with 7-5 suited. Well, MJ pairs, but Kristen going to come out and represent a hand. A continuation bet and pick it up as GDS says which player to look out for. Well, probably the obvious take is all pure, the chip leader. I think he's a good player. Like I don't know much about MJ. I don't know if I've seen him much. I haven't seen Storm much. I do know Aaron's game's good. Like that's what we saw it get down here to the heads up last week. So those would be the two I would probably paint as the favorites here. Don't know too much about Will. We'll get an idea here as the evening goes on. Don't forget to smash the like button, click subscribe. As almost at 9,000. Come on, we're almost there. I think it only just takes a handful. We're right at 9K. So if you're checking this out, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. We do 3 streams a week, 1 tournament, and 2 cash. As all right, let's look at our VPIPs. MJ. Yeah, nothing too irregular. I think Gary at 6%. His hands have mostly come from picking up stuff in the blinds. All right, 3,000, 6,000, 6K big blind ante. Raise up here by Will. Up here, going to call Gary. Going to fold down the small blind king 8 suited. Probably the right move. It's a pretty hand, but it's a really awkward one to try to defend against. 2 players that have you out chipped. As Will with the ace of clubs backdoor. Both players again with the same hand. Pretty big continuation bet as he puts up 27K. And gonna pick it up here as often aggression when we just see the same two hands match up. That whoever shows aggression towards it first, more often than not, picks up the pot. As see our chip counts, all pure still way ahead of the field, and Will and MJ, they're second and third, but all it really takes is one hand for the dynamics of this final table to shift. Good late position raise. Mid position here for all pure. Gonna open here with ace-9 offsuit. Again, we're on the bubble. Next 2 places. Leave was 0. So this is great opportunity when you're a big stack to just try to pick up some free chips. It's just a matter of sometimes you're gifted good positions to open from, and players that may not defend with real marginal holdings. But I probably imagine by the end of this level he's going to have about 400K if this continues. All right, ace-10 suited. Now we got ace-10 versus ace-10 again. And Chris going to call on the button. That like surprise going to call 11K more as good 3 ways here to a flop. Everybody misses heads. 6s and 5s are still live and a gutter ball to a 4, but now Aaron had opened with ace-8 previously. Had gotten called by Kristen on the flop on a 9-high board, and they had wound up getting it all in. And not afraid, still going to go attack the flop as Ed here to gamble is going to be out of position here, but needing a 4, 6, or 5. I can see this going check, check. Aaron's probably trying to figure out what hands that can float, and there's plenty of 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s. Probably not thinking that he's up against 6-5, but Ed's going to get the opportunity to bluff at it after the check back on the turn, and ace-high great here in this spot, but the natural bluffs I think that Ed have here are ace-4, ace-5. But he's essentially playing it like he's got a weak king X, and yeah, I'll give Ed credit. Like if you're gonna play this way, where you're gonna take stabs out of position and you're gonna call gut shots, like you're gonna get opportunities to pick off players that can't quite assess your range. So that's where the advantage comes to players playing in those positions. It's just sometimes really hard to do it consistently against good players. But when you're locked in, man, I mean, it just feels like every decision you make is great. And if you're not, you feel like, what in the world am I doing out here? Well, MJ here with our first aces of the night and no action. Felix asking how much to buy, and this is a $150 mega stack Freezeout. $20 tournament entry fee. There's a $10 dealer appreciation for 5K in chips. And if you get here between 2 and 225 Central Standard Time, Texas, you get a 5K on time bonus. And here to our final 8 is top 6 pay. We've got the payouts posted right there in the chat. Just for good reference, is Gary mid-position raise open here for 15K with ace-5. And Will here with a couple of jacks and 3-bet coming. Yeah, got to pick up the pot here as the 3-bets. Again, blinds, 3,000, 6,000, 6,000, big blind ante, so 15K in the middle. And then, I mean, if you're like Storm or Aaron or Gary, like you pick up 15K, that's a round. You can kind of maintain your chip position and wait for a hand to double up on. So these are the spots in tournaments that I think players sometimes don't understand is, you know, you're just trying to go for the big double up with 16 to go, and it's often just about giving yourself opportunities and surviving long enough that the hand situations come up that you can maximize your chip advantage. And yeah, not everybody's got the same leaks here. We've got a raise up here by Aaron up here to 14K as some free money. So we got Bart Hansen hosting tomorrow night here on TCH Live 5-5 edition. Gonna be really excited to see how that PLO highlight reel rolls, because there's just hand after hand after hand of great action. So that is definitely one to check out in the archive. Fireman Scott Delaney had a great weekend here with us. A lot of fun. A lot of fun having the Texan Fireman Scott here with us. Don't forget, we've got our no hourly fee from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. all throughout the month of July. You want to come down here, play some afternoon poker. It'd be like pick up a couple of aces, living the dream. Yeah, but fortunately, like those first aces, no action, nobody to defend. Woe is me, probably thinking, well, no, I'm kidding. He's picked up jacks, he's picked up aces, sitting in second, and really good chip position. What's going on, Steam Dola? The great Steam Dola, Mac Lafetta says fam. See if we get the Steam Dola back on Thursday for the commentary, if he's going to be on the felt. All right, Aaron. Raise up here with a couple of nines. As you've got a limper up front, Kristen, who's... I could probably see him going like 21 to 25K here. Or I could just open shove here. That's a really good spot to do it. It says... would have been just about all of Kristen's chips there, so not quite interested in flipping here close to the bubble. And no, I like the move. I mean, that's potential to... you can maybe get all in with call from maybe like 6s, 7s, 8s. Maybe a weak ace calls and you're flipping, and then you're sitting in really good chip position if you double up. But Ben asking how many people started this event. We had a 38 entries into this for a $150 buy-in. 8 max here for the tournament table, so slight increase in the number of entries from last week as well. Okay, we've got Gary with aces. Kristen have a defend. Yep, 8-7 suited. You're going to call there 9 times out of 10. Here we go, heads up. And flop that won't connect here with Kristen. Bet and fold is... all right, aces have won every hand here tonight. There's no beats. Say hello to Alan, Nathan Vasquez. What's going on, fellas? How are yous? Glad you're spending your Sunday with us. Make sure to hit the like, click, subscribe. Just keep hitting reload. Only need a handful just to reach over 9,000 subscribers. We can do that in like 5 minutes. I know we can. All right. Gary here to the button, gonna raise up and see what that defends with. He's got 7-5 offsuit, so sticky, but Gary flops top pair. Bet of 8,000 here as Ed pairs up as 7. Gary at slow played as kings and now going to raise it up. Probably expect that's going to fold here, but it is. I think it's just going to be another 12K. Gary playing smart, stacking chips, and went from the low stack to I think like 3rd or 4th now here at this point. Fettis, the Steam Dola, is the great announcer man and dude talking. The most boring of the Marvel characters to date. Alright, what do we got? I'm looking at our chips, so I feel like I thought Gary had a little bit more than that, but still in a solid chip position. Fortunately, I think all the players here to Gary's left are the ones most likely to call a raise. So that just really puts a hamper on the hands that I think you can open with, whereas all pure can represent a lot up front that, yeah, even if he has like a hand like 10-8 suited, it's just like, okay, well, the bubble's still in place. We play Mr. Big Stack as, I mean, it doesn't even matter. I think when you get chips like that, it's just, you can rep a pretty wide range up front. Does nearly 140K more than second, all pure. Got Ed, Will, MJ, Aaron, Gary, Kristen, Storm hanging on by a thread with 46K. So he's got to find a shove in hand here pretty soon. Folds all the way around. Is Aaron going to get another walk? Again, our prize pools: first 1,820, second 1,250, third 940, fourth 720, fifth 520, sixth 450, seventh and eighth a big old zero. So next two players to be eliminated will not make the money, as we're still looking for our first bust out, but what has Gary got here? He's just going to open 15K. Semi-mid position as Aaron with a hand that he's got a 3-bet with is, well, let's rate those cards there, fellas. I think slightly off center of the sensors here, so we got to make sure they. Not as a magical game of play guess the hand. I could probably bet Aaron's got like ace jack, maybe ace king. I feel like if he's a lot stronger, he might try to shove. So like ace jack, ace queen, king queen kind of makes sense here. Gary's probably opening suited ace combo, probably like ace 7, ace 8, ace 9. Enough that he can raise with, probably enough that he could maybe try to call back. I could be totally wrong. We're just trying to guess here. And we'll find out, hopefully sooner or later. A lead out here after the 3-bet by Aaron. And gonna draw a fold out here, as we may never know. As we keep it moving here on TCH Live, our final table of our $150 Mega Stack Freezeout. 38 total entries today, 5,700 in the prize pool. We run this every Sunday starting at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and final table kind of between 6 and 7, just depending on, yeah, just how deep the player pool is, because we were, before kind of the shutdown, we were getting about 60 to 70 players. So all of a sudden you start getting really deep once you get down to the last two tables. But here's kind of the field like this, that there's just sort of this bottleneck that happens around the final table, that it just kind of feels like there's just a stall. Yeah, hey, everybody wants to make the money. That's profitable towards tournaments. It's just, there's kind of those ebbs and flows of tournaments that it's going to happen at some point where the blinds just get up that late position. You got to start making moves. And here, the beauty of this tournament, though, is that you get plenty of time to pick your spots, and with no re-entries, too. It's, I think, a little more pure, too. So Gary here down to 103K. Going to shove with ace-queen suited. I like it. That's what you got to do. Aaron, ace-9, all pure. Pretty ham, but can't call. And Storm is going to call off here with Jack-10. He's got his big, he's got 12K right in the middle and only 38K back. This is not really a bad spot. I'm just not a huge advocate for calling off money, but what can you do? It's just that point in the tournament. It's going to turn a straight draw. Gary all over this board as he rivers a flush. That is our first elimination. Storm hung on for as long as he could, just couldn't quite pick up a hand at any point to accumulate any chips. Can be out in 8th. And that is the breaks. That's a tough part of the game. It's sometimes just not going to happen for you today. But here to our final 7. Next player will be our final non-paying position, 7th. Sometimes the table agrees maybe to pay out an extra spot. Sometimes they don't. It just so you get the consensus to do it, and that may be what we're getting discussed here. But don't forget to hit the like button. Click subscribe. We're trying to get over 9K subs here. Really, the next goal is to get to 10K, but folks, if you've just been checking us out here for the first time, make sure to click subscribe. David Solomon, glad I found TCH, longtime poker player, started on the East Coast early days at the WPT Foxwoods, now live in Dallas. Might come down to Austin to play in this one in the future. Yeah, make sure to let us know. You can get on the list for that. Calling 512-956-7195. Gonna have TCH Dallas open for you, David, though, in beginning of early August. City permit approved, so I think we're proceeding into the future at TCH Dallas. Really, really excited to see what's going to turn up there as some new beginnings for us up north. All right, Ed here with a raise up with Jack-10 offsuit. Opens here, decent chip position, but all pure. Looking at a couple of 9s, and it's a good 3-betting opportunity. But just going to call here in position, and I don't dislike that either. I mean, you can get potentially at the bluff off some chips versus if he just folded out to a hand that he 3-bets with. Going to put the brakes on here, though, as Ed going to bet the flop here of King 7-7, 27K. And a raise here. Whew. And that was the benefit of just flat calling in position at tournaments, whereas I think in cash games that generally, when you're much deeper stacked, you're raising more for value, but realizing Ed that probably doesn't have a whole lot of moves in his Rolodex to be able to choose from. Let him bluff off about another 27K. Like I said, I mean, was due to get above 400K with this strategy here on the bubble. Aaron here with Ace-Jack. 110K blinds, 4K, 8K. 8K in the middle here with the big blind ante. I wouldn't dislike a shove here, but opens great too, as not going to get anybody to defend anyway. So Nathan says, what a great move on all pure there. Take some sack. Yeah, I mean, that is probably picked up, you know, Ed's played a wide range of hands. He can see bet any ace-X there in that spot. He doesn't necessarily have to have a king, whereas I think there may be other players there where if a c-bet happens, you're going to freeze maybe a little bit and maybe just call, whereas I think he could probably say confidently he felt like 9s were best, but you got to be able to do it in the moment, and that's how you become a winner, is You can review all these things. You can say it after the fact, but until you do it at that point in time, it's all talk. All right, Ed limps here with some sevens. All pure going to raise here with ace jack. All right, queen nine suited here for Kristen. Here we go, 3 players. Second pair here for Kristen, overs here for all pure. Do the old stop and go, call and shove. It's going to be about 68. And all pure doesn't really have any pure draws. It just has some overcards. The only way you could ever justify feeling a call is if you just shove with queen jack, and in which case you got your opponent drawn. No, well, I mean, it still has plenty of equity, but it's a little more justifiable if, say you have like ace jack of hearts suited, and you have some backdoors, and it's a possibility to bust the bubble here. Maybe you're up against jack 8, 8-7, but it's just very, very hard to find a call here with just ace jack high and no real pure draws. And David Solomon said, I played 5-5 cash with Greg Raymer before he became famous and won the main. Yeah, that's always kind of cool part about the game is you just never know. Somebody to your left or right might go off and just win a big tournament, and we're all kind of hoping for the days that players are going to have the chance to do that again. Fun fact, I went to the bathroom right next to Greg Raymer at the WSOP in 2017. Felt really awkward. It's like, I'm not trying to pay attention. I'm just trying to get in, get out. Then they're just like, oh, just Greg Raymer to my right here. That's not what I was expecting to see, but said hello after the fact. Seems like a pretty nice guy, so. Coy just saying he's c-betting is talking about this hand that Ed all pure played. Okay, he's c-betting a very high percentage, so on a board like that, I figure to keep all the bluffs in the range. I think that's especially true for cash, where I think tournaments are just so much of pot control, being able to pick up the pots where you can versus taking your long-term EV edge in a cash game that you have, that whatever you perceive your opponent's range to be on, that it's just, there's just so many bad turn cards that can happen there that it's like, okay, say like an ace comes on the turn, or like another king pairs up, or any overcards to a 9, like how do you feel about your hand? So I think picking it up there is probably the right move, but I don't think you're wrong. But that's a good point, though. All right, checked all the way through as king high flush draw here for Will. Nobody else has paired up anything. Might take a stab at this. He's probably going to pick it up here, too. There's no reason for any of these other guys to be in as I played with Joe just before he got famous. Alan saying I went next to Chris Ferguson once, too. Could turn into a really awkward discussion fast. Okay, so David's in there. There's a 5-5. They seeded every so often. No cap. Played it a couple times. Way too large for me. Yeah, 5-5 plays pretty big in some places. No cap that all of a sudden becomes, you get a couple player with a lot of chips. So raised up here by Gary with King Jack here in the hijack. King Jack and the hijack. Sounds like A very failed CBS comedy. Hi, Jack. You've done it again. Snappy dialogue, snappy dialogue. All right, 3 players here. Is Aaron going to close the action with King 8 of Hearts, 122 back as everybody misses. Ed has got a straight draw and ace high with the best hand. Gary's probably going to be able to pick this up, too. Bet at 35K. Now, does Aaron believe Gary is betting for value here, but here with 1 spot to the money, it's just not probably the right spot to, and not quite the chip depth to try to float it and maybe make a move on another street. But so Ed, Aaron, Kristen, MJ in the bottom half of the stacks here. Ed probably the most susceptible, but 20K in the middle will pick up a pretty decent percentage if he comes up with a steal hand here in late position. All right, Ed's got a hand, and instead of jamming, he is going to just raise up here to 22K, and Will now here with a 3-betting hand on the button. He's picked up some good combos here. It's aces, jacks, ace-king. Playing them all with aggression as Ed's probably going to shove. We're going to get a call. Ed on the risk of being our bubble. Okay, well, all right, so we'll have the run out here as Ed in for his tournament life. Going to need a jack and a jack alone as 5 will eliminate him, but the good news is that we will pay out 7th place $100. So it's not quite going home with 0. It took a little bit, I believe, off the top of the prize pool just to pay out 7th. It's a good gesture there by the table. Often you kind of get to it here in that spot, that, especially I think when the bottom stacks start to, or relatively within 1 move of getting busted, that, yeah, out of good faith. So we are here to our final 6 blinds, 4,000, 8,000 with an 8,000 big blind ante for $150 mega stack Freezeout. We are over 9K subscribers. We did it. We've made it over 9. 1,000 more here to 10K. Then we'll throw a celebration. Maybe have a TCH watch party in the parking lot. Get like baby pet animals and stuff like that. I don't know. The options are limited to celebrate. Okay, top pair here for MJ. Kristen, the pre-flop raiser. MJ had called out of the big blind. This seems like a check raise all-in situation here. This is Kristen with no backdoors, except to maybe like a running 7-8 or an ace. Sized up pretty decent though on the flop, but we're just gonna get a call, so we'll leave about 100K back. 98.5 exactly. Deuce on the turn. Gonna check. Now gonna come out bet the river. Kristen misses, so no, well played. Give her the opportunity to bluff at it some more, but board run out just didn't incentivize any opportunity to do so. But Next player eliminated, $450. See if I can get the updated numbers. See where that 100 of the prize pool was pulled out. I think it was the top 3, was it? We'll double check on that, but. All right, Ray's up here. Again, just above the min raise is here in the cutoff. Gonna get a call here by All Pure. Gary. This could be a really great squeeze spot here, too, that Aaron can open a ton with a player behind. Tells you if you want to play some power poker in this spot. Just going to call here is decent flop here for Aaron as he's got an open under 5 of clubs. At least enough that I think he can definitely see bet here and just get a feel for if there's anybody that may try to play back at him. But he's going to get a fold out here and pick up a decent sized pot with just 6 high, and that is how you succeed in tournament poker. Appreciate you all joining us here on Sunday. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. Continues to help us get the word out about TCH Live. Reach out to other live poker fans. People that may not even know they love watching this program. So, tournament final tables on Sundays, cash games on Mondays and Thursdays. Of course, this past Saturday we had the second edition of our 1-3 PLO with Fireman Scott. Fantastic, entertaining stream. We love the great 4-card game PLO as All Pure going to raise with Ace-Jack suit offsuit. Pick up the old blinds and Annie says next level up is going to be 5,000, 10,000 with a 10,000 big blind Annie. Again, 25-minute levels. And there you see Will sitting there after the stacking Ed, our new chip leader, All Pure right neck and neck, and Chris in the short stack, but you know all it takes is one double up and right there in the mix. Well, All Pure running pure as he's picked up Ace King. Raise up here as Kristen going to call 25K leaving 51.5 back. I could imagine this is going to be another stop and go here as whatever. Flops 3 queens, shoves called. All Pure has got 1 out left. Kristen here with potentially a double up as only an ace and queens full of 5s going to double up Kristen and a little bit more up to 177K. That takes not a huge chunk out of All Pure, but he's just never going to get away from that hand ever. It just, with the stack depths the way they are, it is. Kristen, I mean, that was a risky play pre-flop. It is a pretty good pre-flop hand, but had the right board come out and get a double up, and right back here in the mix here on TCH Live. See if All Pure. How I readjust, just going to have to keep playing solid. And Will's picked up a couple of aces. All right. Blind versus blind. See if we get a defend here from Aaron out of the big blind. As only 10K more to call. This is a reasonable price here to take a flop, but gonna flop second pair, so I think unless Will makes it a pot-sized bet, I think we could see at least one call out of Aaron here on this spot. Does bet at 20K as gonna see one more street here as Will with nearly a 4-1 advantage, and well, now an immortal lock here as will he induce Aaron to try to bluff here in this spot? He's not feeling it. 5 here on the end. I would be very surprised if we've got if Aaron paid off any bet here in the spot. The bluffs that I think Will could have in this spot are Queen 10, King Queen, maybe King 10. The more natural hands that I could see him, he could definitely have been representing Ace King, Ace Queen, Ace Jack. Try to let his opponent catch up, and all pretty standard across the board there as Will, our chip leader here at 404K, and as a Vikings fan, I'm kind of rooting for him. We don't have a whole lot to cheer for. We've got a lot of misery in our history, some high moments, some ultimate lows. So Will, the Minnesotan, reminiscing about West St. Paul, said he went to Humboldt High School, about old Robert Street out there in West St. Paul. I cut my teeth in radio and broadcast school, so we've come full circle. All right, Aaron, we'll call up here to 4K, and Christina limped in the cutoff here with deuces. Second pair for all pure, as this is definitely a betting spot for sure. And I'm going to pick up the pawn here. So we paid out 7th place. We had 38 entries here into our $150 Mega Stack Freezeout. I'm going to double check here. What were the takeoffs of the prize pool? Like, well, going in, it was first place 1,820, second 1,250, third 940. Fourth, 720, fifth, 520, sixth, 450, and seventh, 100th. But subtract 100 from which parts? 50, 30, 20. Okay, so I got you here. So first, 1770, second, 1220, and third, 920. There you go. That was going on. We had Will raising, MJ calling, the board missing MJ, and Will gonna pick up some chips here. All right, so I'm gonna type this up here for y'all in the chat. This is 1720. Folded here to the button here for all pure with King 4 offsuit. Prime opportunity to pick up some chips. And a raise up here to see Gary 3 high, just going to fold out those. David says, I'm on the call list, text list for the notice of membership and updates for Dallas. Thanks, TCH Live. If you want to get on the list, check out our website, texascardhouse.com, or else you can text TCH Dallas to 21000 to join our text list for updates regarding TCH Dallas. So we got a lot of folks asking for updates, and one way you can get immediate and get on the text list. All right, we got a raise up here by MJ with 25K. Gary going to shove here with ace king. Kind of this is an awkward spot to be in here with king queen. It's definitely good enough to raise, but when you get a real sizable 3-bet shove, do you feel like you're flipping or you dominated? And he's going to see drawn really thin, and also bad that Gary has the ace of diamonds too in the spot. But we'll have 35K back. And gonna flop decent though. Needs a 9 or an ace. Ace king still out ahead, and 9 gets there on the end. MJ is gonna double up, and Gary has been eliminated in 6th. Poor Gary gets it in good. And gonna fall in 6th place and take home $450. That is the game of poker sometimes. Doesn't quite roll the way you want to. All right, so we got Ryan Crow joining us here, producer, running around here, getting everything set up. Also Dustin here helping us out. So how's it going, man? How are we doing Sunday?
Doing well. I figured I'd hop on and give you a quick update on Dallas because it's been we're actually a little behind schedule in case people in Dallas haven't
I'm sure
noticed.
There's been a lot of questions, so it's a busy world to try to put together a card room these days.
Yeah, well, it's funny because we actually have been kind of sitting at a standstill for the last 6 to 8 weeks, and not really because of anything that we're doing, but because of the city of Dallas trying to get our permit. Well, it turns out they were a little slow because of all the COVID stuff, but they actually had a fire in the building where they do the permitting. And so
that building got not the TCH building, but the building where they do the permits.
That's right, the City of Dallas building. And so we were actually getting ready to go pick it up. Like we were thinking we were about to get it, and they just went dark on us completely. And we're thinking,
that is infuriating. Did you go on life tilt after that? Like that would be, happy. From my perspective, be pacing around the house like, what's going on here, guys?
Well, I was sweating it for a few days, but they got back to us and said, hey, apologize. But anyways, we're actually going to pick it up tomorrow after 11 a.m. So construction will commence out there on Tuesday, and hopefully that puts us back, in about a 6 to 8-ish week window of getting open. Unfortunately, it's not as quick as we wanted to do it, but there's only so much we can control when pandemics and fires start to cut through Dallas.
So that sets up probably the timeline then into early September, or what?
Yeah, I mean, right now, if I was putting the over/under, I'd say right around September 1st. In that ballpark. We started staffing up before we knew about this delay, and so I think the main thing is just finishing up construction, and then we should be ready to open soon afterwards. And we've got about four-ish weeks on construction left.
That is some exciting news. I know there's been a lot of demand for it, and thankfully we've gotten a lot of time to build up and introduce people to us and us to them. So, okay, so people want to stay in the loop on this. There's the text line, is that right? Like how many updates are we sending out? Or
so right now we're just gonna. I mean, now that we are commencing this week, we're gonna try to do one a week, and then I think once we get close to opening, we're actually gonna try to have it so people can come up and actually sign up before we open, so there's not a huge backlog when we first open. So I think a day or two before we actually open, or a week or so, will allow people to come up and get memberships.
And a lot of the people to kind of look in the door and get a glimpse of what they're going to be looking at, too.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that has to go in before we can actually let people in. I mean, the city of Dallas wants to tour it. I mean, actually, the police, the actual vibe, they're actually going to be coming in and touring it. So there's a lot of boxes we have to check in order to get open. But all of it is very, cordial. It's all been going very well, and so we don't anticipate many issues there. We just have to do all that before we actually open our doors.
Yeah, it takes more than a table, some chairs, and a couple of deck of cards to open a card room here. It's a lot of stuff, and
especially
people
in Dallas.
Don't see. Especially Dallas. It's
Dallas.
Not Austin. Maybe a little more. There's a lot more precedent to being able to establish it. So,
yeah.
But what's that process like? Is it exciting to introduce people to it? Is it kind of nauseating? Like there's an intensive process. I think that would be introducing people to this side of gaming and poker that may not be as familiar with
Well, I
it.
mean, it's exciting when we know we're going to be able to open. The first year or two we were trying to get open in Dallas, it was extremely frustrating and very, very expensive, and not knowing if it's going to pay off. But right now, I think that everything's looking well. So I mean, I'm excited about it.
We've got Gary Olin with Jack 80. Had very little left. I think 35K left, and
Yeah, 4,500 here.
yeah. So all Will had raised up here with Ace Queen. All pure had gotten out, so we're up into him. All that stuff. We'll have Ace Queen for Jack 8. I mistakenly said Gary was out, but actually it looks like he still had just enough chips in. So he's still trying to hang on here by a thread, Ryan.
Yeah, we had a little production issue on this one. He had to go back, and the software somehow had busted him out. We had to go back and give him his 4,500 chips.
Yeah, and that is the unseen part of some of the production stuff. Is says we got to stay in the loop on chips, and if people aren't as familiar with using the hand scanners, folks are just playing poker. They've played poker for years and years, and they've got their habits as far as this is how I just play, and this is where I position my hands. So this is going to be an epic matchup. We'll take our time here before Jack 8 and Ace Queen get suited. We're talking with Ryan Crow, our owner. Set to open TCH Dallas, pending in a couple of weeks. So we think maybe September 1st, but a lot of building stuff to go through. Okay, so let's say we get to like September 1st. Like, how many tables are we going to have in the room they're open?
So on the main floor, I'm trying to remember. So I think we have 14 or 15 on the main floor. It can hold up to 23 or 24. We wanted to keep it nice and spacious. The tables there are going to be pretty nice. They're all custom made. I mean, they're going to be a good step up from what we've been doing. And if all goes well with those, we may be pushing those out to all of our card rooms. Really nice chairs. Very similar to the Gary Platt chairs we have in all of our other clubs. Oh.
Well, Gary had a very small amount left that he could. He was actually qualified for the big blind ante. So there, he's been knocked out in 6. He'll take out 450 as we go down here to our final 5. There we go. We got it updated. But you were saying.
No, yeah, and so we also plan to have a TCH live table there. It probably won't go in until about 3 or 4 weeks after we're open, just because we have a lot of we're having a new custom table made with the RFID table, and also the lighting and all that stuff has to be done. So we didn't want to delay opening the room for TCH live. So we'll be open for about a month before we were able to start streaming there.
So are we going to be able to broadcast from our operation here? Is there going to be a studio up there?
There will be a studio in both. Up there as well. We're going to make it so we'll be able to do remote commentary, so we can use commentators from other location. So my goal is to have just like you are the main commentator here, have one up in Dallas, and then you guys be able to commentate together and or cover for each other. So you can do it. Essentially, it'll be the same to you. You'll be looking at it on a screen here, but the people will be playing up in Dallas, and that's very doable. I know talking with Bart, he's done remote commentating for some of the casinos. And we know how they're doing it. We just haven't gone through and set it up yet, but we will once Dallas gets open.
It's on the to-do list. The big key is just getting the doors open.
Yeah. And the remote commentary is not going to be. It's not that difficult. We just need to go through the action of doing it.
It's a lot of things we're figuring out here in the last couple of months. You can do a lot of remote technologies, and hopefully these companies make it easier. Aaron going to raise up here with 3 deuce of diamonds, all pure here with king deuce off. So, yeah, I mean, it opens the doors for us. I think that to also get a lot of different personalities involved and an outlet for them to promote themselves and share their personalities and be a part of Texas Card House Live, as Aaron had raised here in the small blind trying to pick up the blinds. And EA saying, nice, I didn't know there was a stream tonight. Yep, every Sunday we do our final table stream. David saying, looking forward to it. I'll try to be one of the first members.
Yeah, that was me that actually wrote that in the chat. I didn't know David Solomon moved to Dallas.
So he's going to be right there at the front of the line to try to get in some of those first memberships to our location up there. Don't forget to click the like, hit subscribe. Man, we're at 9K subscribers here, and what's this been like 6-7 months, including like 2-3 months where it was everybody had to kind of take a break for a bit. So
Yeah, I think David's probably earned a free month or two up there too, membership-wise. He's been here he's played with us for a long time. So
says I live in Salina, Texas, about 45 minutes north. So
nice.
Fed us a steam duel and do talking in the first drink. Well, I'm just focused on the next one. I'm like an old ball coach, just on to the next game.
Oh, a different David Solomon. That's funny.
All right, we've got a bunch of junky hands. That's not pretty fun, though. That is open-ender here for all pure. Top pair for Kristen. Second pair for MJ. And MJ is a little early for the party as he's going to try to take a stab at it.
I don't know if you remember when we actually announced the location in Dallas, we did a little scavenger hunt. So the first person to find the sign actually we gave him like $1,000 or $1,500 in credit. And he found it very quickly. He actually found it like the next morning. It was shockingly fast. And so apparently we're not very well hidden. That was fun.
All right, 3 of a kind nines here for Kristen as we get a check shove. All right, so this is the address again. It's at Sam Moon. Is that right? Because I never remember it right. I'm just going to have it like written on my
It's
head.
in the Sam Moon Shopping Center on the northeast corner of I-35 East and 635. So it's in north central Dallas. I mean, maybe it's west of the tollway. So it's, up in the northern Dallas area.
As we see our payouts. But, yeah, I'm excited for that. I think there's a lot of opportunities to get really big games up in that way and play exciting TCH live action and keep continuing to reach the folks in the north part of the state. Yeah, did you get to watch much of that PLO or any of the stuff last night? I know you've been probably full steam ahead with so many stuff.
Well, I was here action tracking, producing the first half of it. And then I left the second half. James was covering it. So I watched a little bit when I got home. But I had the kids, so not too much.
I was like, that's right. You were producing for half of this, so it was fun. Like I really enjoyed just doing the 4-card. It seems like we introduced a different game here to our audience, so it's
and actually I need to get back to him. Fireman Scott messaged me this morning and said, hey, can we do it every 2 weeks? And so I think, right now we've been doing it once a month. We obviously need to figure out staffing and stuff. It's we're kind of tight right now with all the COVID stuff, but. I'd love to do PLO more often.
Oh, yeah. It's especially with the opportunity to branch out here in the TCH Houston and reach our Houston audience and opportunity for Fireman Scott to just kind of promote the game, too. So it's there's positives. Like I said, it's a lot of coordinating that.
Yeah, and
to make it all work kind of seamlessly. So.
And there's not as many PLO viewers as are Nilman Hold'em. I think that's pretty standard across the board. But and it's mainly because a lot of players probably don't understand Omaha. But we got a blurry camera there. I need to see if we can fix that.
We got to raise up here as. Sometimes it'll do that around C3, C4.
Yeah, that one camera it keeps switching back into autofocus. So I've been talking to the company about it. There's something wrong with it. We may need to replace it because it's supposed to not try to refocus itself.
So I was trying to talk to Fireman Scott about this. It's not a this is not a real idea. It's like maybe like a year or two down the road. Called the Battle for Texas. You split up like 9 different sections of the state. You have your Houston, your Dallas, your Austin, your San Antonio, far west, far south, far Panhandle, far east.
Paso RGV, yep.
And just have either a tournament, a sit-go, a series of cash games. We call it the Battle for Texas on TCH Live.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's going to take some coordination and things that it's like down the road. Well, we can probably maybe make it a reality, but we'd love to get the state of Texas involved here in the great game. But
absolutely,
we got Will here with a raise up here out of the small blind versus blind. Eric going to defend here with Jack 5. Well, we're always open to content ideas, and we've got top pair here for Aaron and open ender here for Will. Make sure you guys, if you're checking out the highlight reels, to hit the like button on those if you see them. The response from those is what helps get all our content on to other mediums and others, people that may not be as familiar with the channel. There's Aaron here with the decision here with a jack and no kicker. The pot building to about 105K. I think if he shoves, he's going to get a call here by Will, but does not have a huge edge. It can't just flat call. It is kind of an all-in or fold. Still a decision here for Aaron as top pair. As you see the percentages, though, not a huge advantage. Just slightly above a coin flip as he pushes all in, and 57K more to win. 207 in the middle, like 4-1. Like it's just like you just got to call. Let's see how long it takes for Will to decide here. As I think we'll probably do a color up on some of these chips here for once we get down a little bit more short-handed. But all right, we had a busy day here. We had like 4 tournament tables going with like 4 cash. So
Yeah.
Here at one point in the afternoon, so this was kind of the place to be here in the afternoon.
He's thinking about it, isn't he?
Yeah, this is normally a snap call, but he's probably perceiving he's further behind than he thinks, whereas...
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Steamdola. This is... You just can't... not with as much money in there after what he bet and C-bet. Like, you got to take the chances. Probably also felt like... Yeah, I don't know if I... Whew. It's one where the odds say a call, but going to opt for chip preservation. Again, it wasn't, it was Aaron that pushed and got a tank, so, and not a fold, but, so again, if you want to get on the text list, text TCH Dallas to 21000. Like Ryan here said, going to try to shoot for like an update once a week. TCH Dallas, and that text number 2100. Just stay up in the loop.
What are they talking about this fan right now?
I guess maybe there's the pay jump too. I mean, it's not a very big jump. It's maybe like $200, but got a raise up here by Kristen here with some 8s, and we'll get no action. What space, David asking, what space is the Sam Moon as TCH taking over? Is it like a dress barn or an Olive Garden or?
No, it actually was. It was actually their former. So if you're looking at the Sam Moon, it's in the shopping center. It's in the strip to the left. It's down there closest to them. There's a little sandwich shop right across the breezeway. I think it's closed down for remodeling during the COVID stuff, but. A couple little food places there by it, but we have a pretty big space. It's by far going to be the largest Texas card house that we've opened. I think it's about just under 8,000 square feet, and so yeah, pretty good size, nice and spacious. We're not going to jam pack it with tables, obviously for COVID reasons, and just we don't need them right now. I don't expect the room to be filling up, right when we open, but. Yeah, I'd love to be wrong on that, but
yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be limited. We're going to be limiting the capacity ourselves, just based on the coronavirus stuff, at least in the short term. Hopefully,
yeah, it is one that we're kind of taking day by day on at this point, because it just anything can change in the drop of a hat. But so that still feels under that restaurant occupancy capacity. Like 50%, or does that apply only in Travis County, or is that?
For us, I think there's a statewide limit that's on that. So yeah, it's 50%. So.
Yeah, like I said, that's not going to be a number that it would.
I mean, the
You're taking
capacity there,
hell
the capacity
of a
there is very
turnout
large.
to get 50% probably for the occupancy.
Yeah, the capacity there is very high. I mean, we could 50%. I think it's over, well over 100 people we could have in there. But,
All
I think we want to make sure we don't want to get on the city's bad side either. We don't want them
Yeah.
seeing us as someone who's spreading.
I only asked them to recheck that just to reaffirm that here with our audience. That, hey, it's a big space. Should be plenty of room. Be safe and sanitary. This is Dave's Deli, a sandwich shop. Well, now I'm in because we've been talking about sandwich shops here on our Thursday edition with the great steamed Ola. William says, any thoughts of big tournaments up there or anywhere?
Oh, there'll be. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
hoping
that's
we'll have
probably
huge tournaments there. Is my hope.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd like to since there's not as many clubs up there. We'd love to make sure we're doing the 100K guarantee monthly that we used to the $500 reentry one that we used to do here. I think that's for sure would probably be on the docket, and as well as all of our weekly stuff.
Got a raise up here by Aaron and completes from a couple of different players, and probably going to get a fold out here with a bet because. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, any thoughts, pop in here to the chat. Make sure to hit the like, click, subscribe. We reached over 9K subscribers. Now the next milestone to get to 10K. And almost to like 1 million views total on the content. We're about 920. Imagine a couple of weeks. Keep the highlight reels that pop up. Don't forget to hit the like on those. So we have one that came out last night with Big Daddy Chaz. Certainly igniting feelings in our audience. Some love him, some hate him. Some love to hate him. Some hate to love him. I just like him. I think he's very good. He's great for our channel. He's like pretty nice dude too. So
yeah. I see someone asked about Big Blind Annies. It certainly saves a lot of time whenever we go with Big Blind Annies, especially on the stream. So we've always kind of done that.
Yeah, you get. I mean, it's sometimes going to increase the pace of play and forces. I mean, it gives more incentive, I think, also to more hands, so that you can get a lot more late position raise and pick up.
Yeah,
chips.
I mean, there's some decent arguments for going to getting. I mean, when you get down to like 5 or 6 players to get rid of the Big Blind Ante, but so far we've kept it and we haven't had too many complaints about it. So I think that makes sense.
Especially when you just have to have the element of collecting all of them. Like you just lose so many hands per hour often unless you have a pretty zippy table, and that's not always easy for everybody. Alan, let's tell them bring back coins. Yeah, I read that. There's a national coin shortage, and I'm like, you're telling me we're on a shortage of coins ourselves here at TCH. Then I realized they were actually talking about like real, actual. Maybe that's like his superpower. Is not spreading coins to banks all around. So I read now that like banks are there are some that are accepting money in return for getting coins now, whereas before, if you try to cash in, most wouldn't take them unless you're a member of a credit union. So you'd have to go to, like your coin stores and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
I was not aware of that.
Jedi Master Ted still waiting for my low light reel. We're not in the business of trying to bury on anybody here, Ryan. I think that's one of the things here with the highlight reels is, there may be misplays, but I think we're looking to embarrass anybody.
Unless it's really funny. Then
Yeah,
we'll
unless it's
think about it.
really, really fun. Like if there's some good comedy with it. Maybe they did like a flash mob within it when he got stacked. Like that would be creative and interesting that you just could not share here with the world does. I think Jedi Master Ted looking to just get that juice up that table image outside of the stream.
When he said that, I was in my mind. I thought he meant bring back the player coins. For
Yeah.
the
We were talking about coins. I was talking. Yeah, that
okay.
was. So led me into that rant about the national coin shortage. It's like we're having that as well at TCH. We're going through a big coin shortage right now. We miss him. We hope to get him back for a stream at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine he may be taking a break because of COVID. I feel like he came back once, but since it's picked back up, I haven't seen him.
Well, we had a 3-bet after the initial raise here by Aaron. Here with Ace Queen. Could get ourselves a little cooler, but Aaron opting not to shove here in the spot, just going to call us. We go heads up. So, and just flops, Jen. That is.
Wow.
That is top pair. It's what you play
Top
the
pair
game
in the
for,
flush
and he's
draw.
going to get his opponent to try to bet at him. All right, so check and check. King comes here on the turn. Aaron's got a hammer lock in this hand. Let's try to see if we can get MJ to bluff out him. He'll fire out, probably get a fold here from MJ.
35K.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ryan, if there's anything else you want to follow up on here with TCH Dallas or any other questions or any how many people per table max for Cat? 8-handed max?
Yeah, we'll definitely be 8-handed max for a while. The tables can seat 10, but I think usually we seat around 9. But I mean, right now we won't do anything over 8 until something drastically changes with the global situation.
The whole situation in the state that.
And masks will be required until further notice. All that stuff. I mean, those aren't our rules. Those are things that we have to do. So
I'm seeing a
yeah.
shift. I think more people are just kind of accepting that this
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
it
yeah.
is, and it's just like I think all I just say is like if you want football, just help us all wear the mask. So.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, it's we just have to. I mean, they say we got to do it. We got to do it. I mean, there's enough eyes that are going to be on us in Dallas already. Like we can't. Like we're not in a position to be able to push back or test the waters.
Right.
So we're going to be going pretty much by the book.
Ito wears West Cutshall. Well, he's a Houston area player and vlogger. I don't think he's really come out and played anything since the shutdown.
He came out and posted that he pretty much was not expecting to play live poker this year in 2020. So, I mean, I based on what he said, I would not expect him to be back around playing anywhere, not just on TCH, for the immediate future.
That's taking a more cautious approach, and I think there's a lot of folks that are going to take that, and they have plenty of good reasons to. And
yeah, we actually had plans. Brad Owen was going to be here last weekend. We had it planned, and we started to announce it, but when things started to pick up, we both he and the Texas Card House kind of talked it over and figured it was probably best to hold off on that
Right.
based on just what's going on. And what would happen was a lot of people would probably show up that couldn't get in the room, and it would create a bad experience. People would get pissed at us. They'd get mad. So we figured we'd just wait until it's a better. It just makes sense, right? And
we want to be able to host a mass gathering of people and make sure everybody gets what they came for and has a good time, has a table to play on, and we'll be looking forward to having Brad and introducing his audience to us more. He's been here a few times, and always great when we get the vloggers and those folks and the personalities of poker involved. Looks like we're gonna get it all in. Will shoving his King 5 into Kristen that opened here out of the small blind, and gonna flop top here. Kristen does have a ace-high flush draw and a straight draw. Ace also works, but gonna brick as Kristen's been knocked out. Be eliminated here in 5th place. 4th, next place to get eliminated to be 720. 3rd, 940, or should be 920.
yeah, it's updated here on the screen.
Yeah, there you go. 920, 1220, and then 1770 for first place here of $150 buy-in. EA says I went to Pensacola dog track and they were 3-handed. I walked out immediately. Yeah, three-handed unless you're playing like Sassy, Stout 8, or any of those kind of mixed games. Doesn't sound too.
Yeah, I mean, short of the city telling us we have to do something different, we plan to be 8-handed max. They're larger. They're pretty large tables. So in Austin we have 9-foot tables. I think they're going to be 9 foot 6 inches, a little more space. And so we're hoping we can do it comfortably with there's space kind of like you see on the table here.
Right.
But if they come back and say you got to do something different, we're going to listen to them. But our plan is to do 8-handed.
TCH reminds me of playground poker in Montreal. I've not got the opportunity to go to Montreal, but someday, Ryan.
That's a flop.
That is top pair here for Aaron. Will, 3's full. That about as good as you can ask for. Blind versus blind is. Could be bad news here for Aaron, but see what the run out comes. That
Aaron might think he's good here.
yeah, it's a lot of like club draws.
Yeah.
5-4, 6-4. I mean, obviously 6-4 gets there, but you can get floated even by ace high on the spot too. And bet at 35, just gonna call. Just gonna lure him in one more time. Probably go. And Aaron's got a really suspicious look over at him as he calls in that spot. That was sort of like a hey, what do you got going on there, man? I would expect like a flop lead of like 100K is probably what's going to happen here. Oh, did he check again? He's trying to lure him in, and 3's full's not going to get paid. But I think there are some players who can maybe try to induce the bluff there. But
yeah, after that look, I think I would have. I should have bet that.
Yeah, Aaron's suspicions were up quite a bit. Saw his eyes peer over there like,
yeah,
I'm not putting another cent into this pot. You got a 3, most likely. So. All right, down to 4-handed here with Ryan Crow here on our Texas Card House. As Dallas set to open September. I had somebody says, why no TCH San Antonio? Is that ever going to be a thing, or is that just it's just?
We're pretty good friends with the guys over at SA Card House. I think way back when we talked about it a little bit, but it seems like there's a lot of rooms there. It's there's a lot.
It's kind of it's not I think to our advantage to probably get in the mix with all the other rooms that are there now that seem to be doing fine.
Yeah, it's tough to compete with other rooms. It really is. I mean, in Austin, it's a very competitive market. Houston, even in Rio Grande Valley, it's just, you want to open in a place where there's demand. And not that we're afraid of competition, but we want to make sure we make the right business decision and go where, we know we're going to have players, we're going to be able to get games every day and get a good crowd.
Keep trying to propose TCH locations. I said TCH Hawaii, TCH Maine. I don't think we could branch out that far yet, but.
Well, here's the thing. Our whole model is kind of built on these laws in Texas. And so, yeah, we'd love to open in other locations too. But right now we're kind of staying within our little niche here, or niche, whatever you call it. And so, we don't have the resources of all these big casinos. So we're not like
we're not.
Yeah.
So there goes our hope for TCH Fargo, our most exotic location of Fargo.
TCH Hawaii, though, we can talk about that.
We've got all of a sudden be like, hey, you guys need a manager for that location?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd like to put my name in that mix there. Have our entire staff. Sir, I'd love to be a part of this endeavor. I think we got the right idea. But, all right, here we go. We got King, Queen, Ace, 5. Aaron had raised up blind versus blind, and open ender here for Aaron, all pure. A huge whiff on this, but best hand with ace high. John Sipper combo deal with Texas Roadhouse, Steakhouse, Card House. That was actually, I was so confused. The first time somebody told me about this place, I thought they meant they were playing cards at Texas Roadhouse. I went to Texas Roadhouse and said, this doesn't make any sense. So then I Googled it. I'm like, Texas Card Room. And then I found the Texas Card House, the South location, several years before I applied. And yeah, I don't think there's any potential there for a combo deal. Those folks got it covered. Ito, what's the highest stakes in TCH? I don't know what we're gonna have for. I'm sure it's going to attract some high-stakes games in Dallas.
We'll try to – I mean, what will happen is we'll probably reach out, and we could if we find people who run those high-limit games, we'll try to, get them to at least start off or try them at our place. So I'd love to have, 5, 10, and 10, 20 games or whatever.
Yeah, 10, 20, Omaha,
It's really based on what the members want, right? I mean, so, here, in Austin at least, the 5-5s play so big that there's not a whole lot of demand to go higher. In Houston, you get 25, 50 games, and it's just different. So I mean, I'll be curious to see how Dallas. I mean, every city has their own way to play poker. I mean, it's funny. I mean, you think, well, how many ways can you play poker? But it's different. I mean, it's we learned that pretty quickly. You can't just make one set of rules, house rules, and have them at every location. Every GM has some flexibility to kind of tweak the
All right.
tweak the game
Just,
to
you
the
know,
local crowd. Yeah.
accommodate whichever the stakes. I mean, there's a lot of different groups of players that organize, and it's their own kind of little ecosystems to.
Like last night, I mean the button blind. I mean, they kind of it's just built into the game there. They do.
Yeah,
And
it's just like they couldn't not do it, but it's very different to how we do things in Austin.
But just don't do it. I mean, they don't do it. I mean, so it's or at least I haven't seen them doing it. So, little things like that.
So top pair here for Aaron. It looks like I think we got a check, and I don't think he totally spazzed off here with 7-5, but. Did he really shove all in here in this spot? What?
7.
I thought that might have been a mistake, but this is.
Yeah, I was looking over at Dustin. I was like, was there a production error on this? But no.
It's just so out of what you would expect. And this is technically really a tough decision here for Aaron because this man has 3-bet this and then just open shoved. I mean, even if he says like has ace jack, you're up against 2 pair. You could do that with ace king. You could do that. Probably wouldn't do that with aces. That would be the 1% of the time you would probably ever see that. So it's definitely, I mean, like we had the benefit of seeing that he has 7-5 and 3% to win, but do you get an overbet to put Aaron all in for his last 281K? Like this is a very special punt.
He's feeling them out right now. A little chatter going on.
Yeah, because it's just like you just don't see an overbet like this very often at this stage of the tournament, but it is max pressure being put on Aaron here that, again, first 1770, second place 1320, third 940, and fourth 7. And he gets him to fold out.
You'll know in 15 minutes if they had this space.
That is something you don't see every day, but I mean that is power poker, right? In a sense that even four-handed,
He
that
just
is
said,
so tough
I'm playing this hand.
It's a good bluff. Like it
Yeah.
is. It is a punt bluff, and Aaron I think was just so flabbergasted because you just don't see that spot come up very often, but gets it through and. Sitting on a mountain of chips right now is blinds 6,000, 12,000 with a 12,000 big blind ante. Be back here tomorrow, 5-5 with Bart Hansen.
Bart's giving you the night off, huh?
Yeah, like he's trying to get in the mix, and I figured, hey, after we do Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm like, hey, I want to take Monday off just to recharge the batteries, maybe do a little dealer shift.
Three of the last 4 days, huh?
Yeah, and it's I don't sit there and say like this is like labor hard work, but it's just like mentally intensive, super into it. Like I'm not trying to commit like half speed to it. It's just try to recharge your bearings, do an oil change.
Absolutely.
And then you get Bart in the mix as well because people love his expertise. He's hey, the guy was one of the godfathers of live streaming. You got to give the guy a stage, absolutely. John B. says Texas players are really trash. It's confirmed. Shots fired. Shots fired here in the chat.
Well, come on down and play.
Yeah, it is. I don't necessarily know if it's any better or worse anywhere else you go, but we've got the TCH live stream to show proof of it. So I think we call that kind of confirmation bias. See our chip counts here. Will, Aaron, All Pure, MJ. Our final 4. Yeah, I mean, that was that 7-5 jam all in is still getting some ground here. That is just like, it's just so weird that it's just, it puts Aaron in such an odd spot that there's just, it's just so polarized. A huge
I love it.
hand
I
or-
love seeing that stuff. It's like,
You just don't see it generally on this table that people will take big swings.
but here's the thing. I mean, people will watch that next time if they're ever playing against this guy. They go, "Oh, I know he's capable of doing it. He's gonna be holding aces."
Clear, you got 7 high again, and then he just shows you the nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that is. I definitely golf clap for the ambition there. That took some stones. Don't forget to hit the like button, y'all. Click subscribe. Over 9K subscribers. Again, Bart Hanson with
We break
5-5
9K?
Monday. Yeah, we made it over 9K here.
Nice.
So it's full steam ahead. And then we go Thursdays 1-3. Probably have the steam build back for that, and then back for another Sunday edition of our Mega Stack Freezeout. So you been spending any time outside, Ryan? Like it's hard to be out there for longer than about 5 minutes and not fry. Like it's.
Yeah, it's been pretty warm out. So I mean, I go out with my kids and just kind of play around in the yard. But yeah, it's freaking sweltering hot outside right now. My wife's like, "You guys need to get outside." I'm like, "Well, you go outside."
Yeah,
I'm like,
well,
"You
for
go
like
out there
5
and play."
minutes, just get some fresh air and.
No, it's
I mean, there are worse problems to have, obviously, as we're going to get a shove with aces in this spot. Is probably not going to get a look up here by Will, as even in his most optimistic scenarios, King 6 just is not worth continuing with. But yeah, it's bringing more people indoors and out here to the Texas Card House. There's no hourly fee from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. all throughout the month of July. Their tournament final table, we got 2-1-2 no limit tables happening and a 1-3 no limit happening here. Is open till about 2 or 3 o'clock tonight. They open generally close a little bit earlier, but till 4 a.m. each night, which still getting a pretty healthy crowd, I think, for amongst our cash game players.
yeah.
Numbers, it seems like for the tables have been fairly, reasonable within expectation, and some days we're doing really, really well too. So
Yeah, I think we got 4 cash tables going right now. I have to look and see it. 3 or 4.
yeah, it's at least 3, then a decent wait list here for 7. And sometimes you get that mixed game happen on Sunday nights, but you never know. Somebody might come on in here and just say, let's get a PLO game going, and 10 minutes later we got a 1-2-5 game going happening. It's just it cater to the audience, the folks that come on in. As we've got MJ 3-betting. Now there's a raise up here to 30K as help you're going to call. Limp the button. Call in the position with ace-3, 6-6 deuce. MJ's going to shove, as he should. And even on the best days, calling with ace-3 is just
Yeah, it's easy fold.
pure. Yeah. John says, nope, I'm still stuck in Guam. I'll be in Dallas in August. Hoping the Dallas location is open by the time I'm there. Oh. Hope to see you there. Again, drop us a line from wherever you're watching. So, Guam, South Korea, somebody check in from Japan, from the Netherlands, Scotland, Australia. We had Australia check in. I was just fascinated to see where this gets unearthed, and been watching a lot of UFO podcasts and stuff like that, Ryan. I'm not trying to be crazy, but you never know if the Intergalactic Federation is big fans of TCH Live.
Yeah, I was looking at Google Analytics, and we had 1 viewer from Mars. Not sure who it
Really?
was.
that is...
You never know.
Yeah, it really, they got a strong Wi-Fi signal out there, and you got a phone anywhere throughout the galaxy. You can subscribe to us here on TCH Live. Close to Mars, though. Seacoast, New Hampshire. May as well be Mars. No, I'm kidding. The great state of New Hampshire.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the analytics the other day. I forgot who I was with. Maybe it was Bart or one of the other guys.
Yeah.
I was in. I was surprised that there's like less than half of our viewers are actually from Texas. It was right around like 47%, I believe, so which means 53% of our audience is the rest of the world. And
It is.
California was like 15%. It was massive.
I've had this theory that I think it's players that are playing that like actually in a cash game or
Yeah.
in a tournament really love to have it on as just something in the background.
Yeah.
And so I think with that is maybe why some of the streaming numbers aren't quite what we were on some of the 5.5s before, where it was just like 1.5K, 2K, like it was.
Yeah.
It was a huge storm that kind of just arrived, and then all of a sudden it's the poker world shuts down for continent to continent, and all of a sudden I think the interest in live poker is still just like
And I think that's
still kind of reeling back in.
a lot of people are just out of the poker mode, right? They're just not playing, they're not
Yeah.
watching it, and so they're probably waiting to get back into it later.
Trey asking when's the next podcast. I don't know if they mean like this show or the From the Felt podcast. Is that on hiatus at this point?
It is for now. We actually talked about doing one or two. We actually did one we haven't released with the Solve for Why guys. I need to get that up and out.
Sure.
But I need to get with Bill and those guys and figure out what we're going to do from that standpoint. But yeah, I'd like to do a few more of those, but really it's just kind of a time thing. I was actually
you got a lot on your plate here at this point.
There's a lot going on with Dallas and this, and it's funny because most of the card rooms run like a pretty well-oiled machine for the most part, and I'm not that involved with it. But when COVID hit and we were shutting them all down and doing all this stuff, it's like, man, I was working like crazy hours during the shutdown.
When
yeah,
everything had to.
now that things are back open, it's not so bad. But that was the last thing on my mind, to be honest, whenever we were shut down. But it's something I'd like to start doing again.
Trey said I really like the podcast. Oh, that's cool.
You're still
I enjoyed it. It was always good just because it's like I can concise all the information and news. So hopefully when the time allows.
You know what? This evening I get the kids in, I'm actually going to go pull up the one we did with Berkey and the Solve for Why guys, and I'll get that pushed out. I'll probably get it pushed out the next day or two because it's pretty much done. And then I need to get that going again. It'd be great.
Yeah, it's
What I do
another branch of media out there for folks to check out beyond TCH Live, the archives, the replays. Make sure to click subscribe. Hit that like button. All right.
What I need to do is take myself out of it and give it to other people so they can run with it. And that's
I would make a decent host for it.
There
I
you
think
go.
we'll
Yeah,
see if we
absolutely.
can work around all that. And
Yeah.
It's a lot of things to line up, especially with guests and.
Yeah, because if I could take myself out of the loop on that, it would probably be more regular. But the problem is I'm doing it and producing it and doing all the stuff on it. So I need to find someone else that has the passion to do that and wants to do it. Not that I'm good at it. I just
It's just like
doing it.
It's definitely a great source for people just to get all the info. And we had this channel take off and maybe figure out something for that for the podcast. All right, so we've got a raise up here by Will. All pure here with a suit at 9-8.
Yeah, I see Trey talking about the lobbying. So those were some
that
really
was
good
really,
ones.
I thought it was fascinating stuff. This is kind of the business side of things that people just don't probably have any comprehension as to what that process is like.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Trey's got me thinking there. I'm definitely going to try to get an episode out. I'll get that Matt Berkey one out here in the next couple of days, and then I'll get with the guys and see about shooting another one here soon.
Andrew Vadine saying, I completely forgot there was more TCH Live tonight. There's been so much TCH Live, forgot today was another day. And that's why we say hit that notifications bar so that, as life takes over, you got to pick up your kids, go to the grocery store, get your affairs in order. I know you're not always thinking TCH all the time. I am. The time I wake up, okay, but all kidding aside, here four-handed. V, I can't figure out how Zoom poker would work, who deals my cards, etc. Usually, like, Zoom poker means like you get on the Zoom app with a group of players and you find like a website to play on. Some players just use for like sit and goes.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of fun. We did a little bit with that during the shutdown, but it wasn't
super-
really like a great streaming product because it's not the I'm in the booth while people are playing. And
Yeah, we tried it out. I mean, here's the thing: we try to be creative. When things like that happen, it wasn't super successful, but we did a few streams where we used Poker
Yeah.
Bros and we used Zoom.
I think everybody was kind of out of poker mode at that point.
Definitely.
It was.
I think the world was still in shock.
We were just kind of just going like, is this real life right now? I was so excited to get on that, even if we had like 30 people watching. It was just like, okay,
Yeah.
this feels a little more normal. There's a bet here with 2-pair, 3-pair, all pure trying to chip back up as everybody chasing the $1,770 first place prize. Jedi Master Ted, Captain Segway, strikes again. It's my other superhero nickname, Captain Segway. Announcer man, dude talking. Ryan, we got to get you a nickname, but that's another day. Well, as this tournament continues, how many hours are we in here on? About 2 hours. We've got Aaron here with a raise. Here with blinds 8,000, 6,000. Going to open. Going to raise. VA says Mike the Mouth talks about. Yeah, I mean, I think for like a social element, if you're not playing like big stakes or something, for nosebleeds, I'm probably way more cautious, or medium to high stakes. Like I would be, very sure who I was dealing with. But yeah, I always just try to say use your best judgment. I think all y'all are smart enough to figure that out. Poker players, ability to use reason in a decision making. Should have big blind left next to chip count, next to player stacks. All right. So for not a ton of action, a lot of chips being passed around. MJR low stack will dominating chip position here in 612K. And MJ down to his last 10 big blinds. Aaron at 13. Here for the next level jump, I think it's going to be 10K, 20K.
Yeah, the blinds now are 18.6 and 8, 16, and 16K big blind. Okay.
All right, 20. So it's about like 40K right there in the middle to pick up. So start getting short like this. This fours is a shove here. Like I think this is totally reasonable to shove. We're gonna get like a semi-min raise though. Boy, we got a lot of people who talk about this kid Austin that played on this train. It's just so confusing sometimes, and players suggesting that should have to play Austin heads up just to keep the money. Very abstract idea. Decent flop here for fours. Not going to connect with all pure's hand. C-bet 25. He could check jam all in too and shove him out, but there's no natural redraws that he can bluff with here in the spots. It just winds up generally becoming a fold unless he's thinking about it, though. Those look like raisin chips, Ryan.
Could be. Nope.
And nope, those are not. That was not, but... And north of 9K subscribers, join us for 5-5 tomorrow night with Bart Hansen hosting. Thursday is 1-3 match to stack, and then Sunday is back here for the tournament final table. Mixing in some PLO here and there, once or twice a month with the old fireman Scott. Got to hang out with fireman Scott. I mean, I was just kind of invited me to hang over at his Airbnb. I didn't even consider it research or anything. It's just this guy's an interesting personality. Let me get to know him a little bit, see what he's about, meet his wife and kid. Pretty nice guy. He's very ambitious as far as what he wants to get accomplished. So it's, good to have somebody like that is interested in our stream. And
Absolutely.
go check out his vlog. He's going to have some content come out here this week. He's going to have a lot of stuff to work with from the last couple of TCH live streams he's been on. And here we go. So we've got to raise up here to 35K by Aaron on the button. Second pair here for MJ. Straight draw. Gutter ball and a 7-4. Well, 7's still live, but they're on to a 7-6 or backdoor spade. And C-Bet's going to pick up the pot here. No, again, this $150 mega stack Freezeout tournament. This is you're going to get more of the recreational player than you are the high rollers who do like $500 and 1K buy-ins. Like biggest tournaments we've had. What was it? The first one with the Moneymaker Final Table. We had the Solve for Y weekend. That was also a pretty big.
Yeah, that was a huge weekend.
That
We
was
were packed.
that was such. I still have such great memories of that weekend of the Solve for Y
Yeah, and it was
weekend.
right before everything shut down. It was like right. I mean, that was like one of the last streams we did. Was with the one with them.
Yeah, it was maybe like a week later. Like
Yeah.
we're talking with Matt Hunt, and it's this thing that's on the horizon. Of like, hey man, we're gonna be able to have the WSOP. Like, I don't think it really occurred to anybody that we were gonna have like a massive worldwide shutdown after that. So
Yeah, crazy.
all right, 8K, 16K big blind ante.
One thing John B is right is at least one of the commentators is an amateur.
That is true. Ryan
I'm
is
not a commentator.
You're not
I hopped
a
in the-
born entertainer, but mastermind of all of this. So
Love it. We need more guys like John B to stir the pot.
That is
get people
right.
in here chatting.
get us fired up.
Thanks, John.
I don't grow with compliments. I grow with harsh criticism. No, I kid. That is. Sometimes I don't I don't mind if there is some smack talk, just because it always reminds you that there's always a rabbit to chase to keep pursuing. And there's also a little bit of like, I'm not going to be able to convince you whatever you think anyway. So very well, Felix. I'm going to play a Bellagio for 2 weeks. Hopefully it stays open. Strange times, man. You ever watch a movie now and you see people that aren't socially distanced and you're just like, oh man,
Remember those
can't believe
days?
these guys are just hanging out inside with like 20 people. What do they think they're doing? And then you're like, this is a movie from 2010.
Yeah, there's a restaurant near our house, pretty much the only one we go to, and they only have very distance tables, like 5-6 tables
Yeah.
total in the place. I was in there the other day, and I got up to go to the restroom, because once you sit down, you don't have to, and I go to the restroom, and like people are like staring at me, and I forgot
Yeah.
to put my mask on.
Oh,
So it's like,
no.
That guy, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I'm like, oh
It's
shit,
just
my
like-
bad, guys, my bad. But it's like,
there's
you know.
human error that occurs. Like, it's not always a defiance at Costco or Target. I mean, those are the rare examples of defiance. Sometimes it's just like, oh, yeah, sorry, I just... Yeah, I mean, you're also going to have to say it's about prolonged exposure, too. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily about, like, quick breath, and then all of a sudden, it's in the air.
Yeah.
But it's... there's some margin of error that if it's like, okay, sorry, I forgot. You're not harvesting, super spreading. It's all right, guys. But masks are required. We will ask you to keep it on.
yeah, it's
Well, we got a situation developing, though. Button raise here by Will. All pure here with the ace-9, four-handed. Yeah, this could be a shove here with the raise amount, or else it's a fold. So, tough part. Will's kind of the mystery player. I don't know if these guys know too much about him.
he's doing all right.
Not too shabby. Yeah, he said he moved to Austin from Minnesota about a month ago.
Okay.
Even showed me his Minnesota ID. So I was wearing my Minnesota Vikings mask. So find any other long-suffering fans and people that just have been traumatized enough by our sports teams. Texas fans could, Cowboys fans can empathize. It's been 20-plus years since the glory days. Mark Janelum says, I watched Iron Man 2 last night. Tony Stark said to Piper, you're going to have to wear a surgical mask if you like to continue. Pretty crazy. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of crazy coincidences, I think, that come up that you can kind of link to the experience of today. MJ here with Tom Pair. Al Pair going to...
John Zimmer, my favorite is the chin mask people. It's like saying I'm
Yeah.
trying, but I don't actually care.
It's like, yeah, it exists. Like, I'm not... The nose is not quite all the way covered, but...
Yeah, and from a selfish standpoint, I'd rather them make everyone wear masks than shut all the places down.
Yeah,
obviously
it's the better the situation is. We've got a bet here on the turn here by All Pure. Then we'll continue here on TCH Live Sunday edition. MJ down to his last 7 big blinds here at 14. So once it gets 10-20, then we're going to get really snug, and I think that's when we're going to start seeing more pushes and more kind of all in and call. But right now they're just deep enough that they can sort of avoid each other. And it just kind of feels like we're trading chips back and forth. So Aaron here with a couple of 7s. This could be a shove. Well, he'll open here for 45K. No, actually 35. He'll have just under 200 left. Andrew asking how many entries. We got 38 total entries here for the $150 Mega Stack Freezeout. Will going to call, and he's going to flop a flush draw. And 2 overcards here to Aaron. That actually paints him as the favorite here with 2 cards to come. Going to check. Aaron's going to bet 27K as 7 of clubs would be just really grimy here. But going to brick as we'll get a 3 of hearts. Oh, ace of clubs on the end, so we'll...
Check.
That's all she wrote there here for Will is... Well, he was the favorite on the flop, and got a number of his outs as the ace of clubs. Makes him a flush there on the end, so we're still kind of hanging out here four-handed. 720 for the next player that gets eliminated, 920 for third, 1220 for second. 1770 here for first.
Yeah, I remember right before we shut down, this tournament was getting pretty big. I think we'd gotten up to like 70 or 80 entries in some of them. And we were actually thinking about raising it to 200 because it was 100 for a while. And we were going to raise it just to,
Yeah, the 200. I mean, it's
tough. I mean, it's a freeze out, right? So you're not going to put any more money in. There's no reentry. So it was a thought, and also just you're streaming. You want to have those big attractive prize pools, but I think 150 is a good place to have it right now.
So we started with like 100, and then we kind of raised up to 150, and I think that was the right kind of the idea to just raise up the prize pool a little bit. And it's like, well, if you're at 150 with the $20 entry, the $10 dealer appreciation, like you could be getting it in 1 or 2 or 3 bullets if it was a re-entry anyway. So 200 seems reasonable. And
we're going to keep the buy on this. So you're getting more value, right? So you're doing $200 with the $20 entry instead of 150 with a $20 entry. So it would have been nice for the players too. I think you're investing that much time. You want to have a decent sized pot.
All right, still 8,016. Steam Dole says everything is knitty to me. This is like Knit Central Station. A good one. I like it. I got a raise up here by Will, and no hands that will want to tangle here with a pair of tens. As MJ still really short here. Feel free to drop us a line. Let us know where you are watching from here. Give us a line here in the chat. Hit the like button. Click subscribe. Love to hear where you guys are all watching from. Some right here in our back door here in Texas. One in the dome, so what time did the tournament start? 2 p.m. Central Time. So we've got a raise up here the small blind with sixes. And we got a shove here with MJ with ace-10 offsuit. And here we go. We might have an all-in on a call. Let's go. It says we'll count it out here. So flip it up. Ace-10 versus sixes. MJ with his tournament life on the line. That's an okay flop there for ace-10. Counterfeit outs. Ace-10 or king. And a king gets there, and he will double up. The tournament will continue here as we'll still stay four-handed. MJ is going to double up here to 216. And we will be kind of here at a standstill continuing four-handed as that sort of really evens the stacks between second, third, and fourth. Got to shove all in a call, Ryan, that these guys are determined to play this one out.
Yeah, they are.
Feta says they need Steam Dola's short stack crash course. I think we all need that. That's I hope an ebook I see on the market here soon. Get a good animated image of it. Steam Dola looking all steamy and focused on the TCH live table. I think you can sell a bunch of copies of that, dude. Like, you can make it like a 50-page ebook. Or else get the print edition of the TCH live gift shop. Pick up shirts, hats, sweatshirts, literature. My own line of scented candles are also up there. I'm just spitballing ideas here. That's... Well, there we go. Queen Jack versus Queen Jack. There's a lot of hands that have been sharing.
I'm seeing that. I'm like, my eyes are like, what the heck am I looking at here? So, I thought that was a bug. I thought they both had Queen of Clubs, Jack of Spades at first.
No, it was like they're just sharing each other's outs. We've had ace-10 go against ace-10, like, I feel like 5 times here on the final table. Look at all those chips. Dominating stack there by Ill Will. All right. Ball Pure had called 16, and then we had MJ raise up out of the small blind. It's okay. So All Pure limped the button with Queen Jack, and then MJ sized up here out of the small. And he's going to call, so we're going to go heads up Queen Jack versus Queen Jack. Whoever decides to be more aggro is going to win this. See if MJ continues here with his last 158K. I would shove right here in the spot. Just if I'm going to 3-bet or if I'm going to raise out of the small blind with a button limper, it's just the Steam Dola crash course says you jam here on this, but check and check and check and yeah, that's man. If you're going to raise out of the small blind, there's at least got to be one C-bet when the board blanks. But there's a lot of times you feel like 10x is in somebody's range that you kind of freeze. Trey Brennan says, just call him Ill Will. You know, spitball nicknames. Some of them work, some of them don't. Like, I'm trying to think of stuff that rhymes with Ryan, and it's like, Ryan McCryan's not right. Like, that's not...
Crying Ryan?
Yeah, that doesn't fit the character. Like, it just doesn't. It's like you got to have it make sense or ironic enough that it's funny. But trying, Ryan. You're trying, Ryan.
I'm trying.
Yeah, MJ missed a bet there, according to the chat. Gianelli asking how many big blinds of openings have typically been on this final. Generally between like min to 3x, usually in that 2.2 to 2.5-ish kind of range. Like, I think the sizings have been fine. Will's probably been using larger pre-flop sizings. But, and they're still relatively short and in pushable range, so all it takes is one to get knocked out, and then we get the other. And raise up here by Will with ace-6 suited. I like it. Putting some pressure on. And Al Pure here with queen deuce. No reason to really try to defend. Just better off letting that one go. John Zimmer asked before, I can't remember, y'all planning putting an RFID table in Dallas and streaming there? Yes. Somewhere down the line, once the Dallas club opens, beginning of September, I think the infrastructure will be put in about a month and a half, 2 months after.
We're actually building out a stage and production. All that stuff's already being built out. It's just going to take an extra couple of weeks to get it all in there. There's a lot of lighting and stuff. Like in Austin, we just put the table in the room in the corner. In Dallas, there's actually a TCH live stage and booth and stuff. So it's.
I remember being in the meetings where we were trying to figure out where is this going to work. Are we going to use like the private room? Like this seemed really stressful as to like, is there going to be enough space? And
it took a very long time to go from the concept to the actual stream itself. Just about 6 or 7 months is for me. But yeah, it's tough, yeah.
I still remember getting that first text of the table sensors with the wood. There's no felt on it. There's just sort of like, okay, here's where the beeps are. And like,
I've got those pictures on my phone, yeah. Matter of fact, yeah, and I got like my margarita sitting on the table.
yeah. I remember receiving it. It's just like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Any chance of attracting the circuit poker? I mean, there's always a possibility, but it's just like you don't want to put the cart before the horse. That just, hey, get the operation up smoothly, and then I think everything will fall into place. And
yeah,
I think that'd probably be the ambition for the future, but it's just, you got to get the doors open and people in. Here we go. We got a raise and a re-raise. Aaron with about 91K back here with King Queen. He's just going to have to get it in. All in here for 126K. Will here with Ace Jack. Jam and jam. There you go. You asked for it. You got it. Aaron looking to double up would put his chip position at 276K. Needs a king or a queen, or he will be eliminated. And an ace on the river. So fourth place will go Aaron. He finished second last week, fourth this week. Building up a pretty good tournament record here to TCH, but the last card did not go his way as we've reached our final three. Will in commanding chip position, MJ hanging on by a thread and could be pushing time here fairly soon. So, yeah,
we're going to be doing everything we can to attract players up in Dallas. Going back to that question, I'm really happy about the guy we have running the room up there, Victor Leon. He's a really sharp guy. And he's run large rooms at casinos before, so he's a very seasoned, All
right, we got deuces and a shove here by MJ. There you go. Just open up the floodgates, and Will here with a reasonable holding of ace-6 offsuit to a button shove, three-handed, and he's not going to call. Queen 9 though here by All Pure would be over half the stack. And we'll take it down here with a button shove with deuces, but plenty of work still left to be done. Here on our tournament final table, $150 mega stack Freezeout, $150 buy-in, 1,770 here for first. Second is 1,220 and third 920. So that's where we remain here with the remaining players. Now blinds 10K, 20K. So yeah, I'm surprised Will didn't call that there, but I think if it's less than 100K, it's probably a call. And just teetering on that.
Shove and shove.
Well, we got shove call. Here we go. Fours versus ace 10.
They're going now.
Fours with the advantage, trying to hang on. Straight draw and a 4 on the end. So a set of fours is going to cripple All Pure down to his last 95K. They essentially just swapped chip stacks. So that will leave All Pure about 95K left. We'll have MJ a decent chip position after that. Kind of up and down all throughout the entirety of the stream, but circuit poker is cool. I dug that series y'all put together. The Scott, yeah, that was we had the Scott series at a couple of the different card rooms across the state. I don't know what's if that's going to be in any time soon, but
yeah, I mean the Scott tournaments of Social Card Clubs of Texas, the money from that was used. I mean, for those of you that listen to the podcast, I mean, you probably actually heard some of our lobbyists that were actually on there, but all that money pretty much went straight to the lobbying efforts here at the state level for poker in Texas, and so
that's a requirement. I mean, that is it takes a lot to get stuff moving and shaking, especially when it comes to the card room stuff. So that's part of our audience is kind of fascinated by. It's just like
and during session, Texas is only in session every 2 years, but that took up a lot of my time as well. One, I'm not that involved in political things here in Texas, so I kind of had to learn the whole process. And so obviously working with attorneys and lobbyists to try to get changes in, the Texas Penal Code, just all those kind of things in order to ease the restrictions on what you can do from a poker standpoint.
I hope there's a lot of people saying thank you to you guys that can have businesses operate also without in the state without any issues. So,
well, there's a lot of opposition at the political. I mean, obviously from casinos and people that don't want poker legalized. But I'll be honest, we weren't trying to legalize all poker. We were trying to legalize. I mean, all gambling. We were trying to legalize poker. We were fighting for poker, not for all gambling in casinos.
Yeah, and that's a thing you have to fight. There's people's misinterpretations of that. So it takes a little while, but we got All Pure shoving here with 10-8. MJ here going to gamble with 7-6 suited, it looks like. So All Pure has a chance to get his money in actually good, and I think we got a call also here by Will. And he flops 3 of a kind sixes, All Pure drawing only to a 9 to save his tournament life. And gets a 9! Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Runner, never funner. All Pure doubles up, and nobody will ever be eliminated from this tournament. We will be going on until tomorrow. Bart Hansen will be checking in. I will be disheveled. I will have aged 5 years by the time this has gotten done as we swap stacks again. It all happened so fast and so bizarrely. I don't know what I just saw other than a 10-8 shove for a lot of chips, a speculative call with 7-6 high, flop 3 of a kind, and the run out came Jack 9 here for a straight. Just, oh boy. Trey, definitely thank you all for that, as I used to play in some shady games back in the day here in Texas. And that's been the point. Try to get some of the games from out of the back rooms and out of some safe spots and have like a reasonable, safe place that's regulated and everybody's following the rules. And
yeah. And SA Card House in San Antonio was a big contributor to that as well. I mean, both clubs put, many tens of thousands of dollars into that effort. So it wasn't just the money that we're making from Scott. The clubs themselves were paying a lot of money into that as well. I mean, most clubs just rode our coattails, unfortunately, but that's just the nature of the beast. And
That is straight flush draw. The top pair all pure. Had flop bottom pair shoved. Got called here by MJ with 8-7. So we're down to heads up. Took us a little bit. It was kind of a muddy path, but we got here. So heads up. Each player will take north of 1,000. Second again 1,220. First 1,770. So yeah, that was an interesting sequence there, as just back and forth and calls I didn't expect to see, folds I didn't expect to see, and either way we get here to heads up and spice it up here as MJ versus Will.
David Solomon is going to drive by the location tomorrow.
Uneventful at best, but John Zimmer with an intense story. I'd hate to have that happen to me, but David, so I'm going to be in Irvine, Texas tomorrow. I'm going to drive by the new TCH spot, check it out on the way back home.
There's a big coming soon banner out there in front of it. The actual sign will be going up in the next, probably next week or two.
Fold and fold, so some junky hands. Not choosing to tangle up with each other. Make sure to hit subscribe if you have not yet. We're over 9K subscribers, looking to get to 10K. Just keep on building, and I mean, that's kind of the fun challenge, is still just branching out into the poker audience. Who knows what the training sites have big subscribers, the vloggers do, and you know, I think people are often just kind of insulated to the subscriptions that they have. I always just sort of feel like if we get you into the right game, then you become a long-time watcher, and that is always just kind of the battle every day to try to get our message out there. And that's why we've been so thankful for all of you that have shared all of that, the videos, the highlight reels, links to the tables. Big part of helping grow TCH Live. All right, Team MJ over here, according to Gianelli. Jessica says, let's go, Will. It's always fun part about the having the chat, too, is people will link it on their Facebook, and then
yeah,
you get your friends and family members. Some of them know poker, some of them don't, but they have a reason to cheer on their friends and relatives and family. We're just trading chips back and forth, fold and fold, so Tyler, our dealer, is going to get a heck of a workout here behind the box, but both players just going to play it cautiously until I guess yeah, I'm kind of surprised there. Even 10-6 is fine, just the limp with. But I'm wondering if Will's going to just try to play big pot poker here.
Yeah, heads up, it's a whole different game.
Yeah, it is. Okay, these two combinations, we should be getting like a raise and a call here. I'm on tilt here, Ryan. The king 3 suited. That hand's so good. That four-handed, I would probably be raising that in position. So that we're waiting for aces here, guys, or pick your spot. I mean, you can. I don't think there's anything wrong with limping here often in the button. Ooh, all right, guys. Let's see. We've got a raise up here by Will here with King High. Let's see what MJ's got. 10-9. Here with about 396 back. And a fold, so I'm really surprised. I would have thought we would have gotten some really, heads-up poker matchups, but I think both these guys are just looking to pick their spot to try to get it all in pre. Steam Dola says K3 is a 3-bet. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, man, insta-fold, not the best sign here, heads up, but yeah, a lot of players don't. I mean, we get chops and that kind of thing, and sometimes you just don't have a ton of experience. And it really is heads up where you start opening up your range a little bit. 10-9, I definitely think is a call on a button raise.
Trey said Beaumont could use a TCH. I'm actually from the Orange Beaumont area.
Really?
Yeah.
That was one of the first places. I moved to Texas, and then I went out to Beaumont and Vider to go coach a basketball camp for a couple of days. So this was sort of like, hey, come down to Texas, and made a trip over there.
Yeah, I went to Lamar University for my undergrad. I lived in Orange all growing up, so it's my old stomping ground.
It seemed like a pretty nice or quiet area. Not too much going on.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
But it's a nice area.
It's funny, living there all my life, everybody said they couldn't wait to get out of there. I never really minded it.
Yeah, I mean,
much.
I think you'd have that mentality about any place that you would call home. Just I think there's that sort of natural inclination for. Like I grew up from a small town of like 1,500 people, middle of nowhere of Iowa. Like that's, I mean, I'm sorry, I love it. Grew up great, but it's you want to advance in life, especially in the media side of things. It's not going to be the place that you define to stay. And for some of the rural areas, it's like, hey, you can carve out a good living, raise out a family, have everything line up right for you. It's kind of the way things work. Just find better opportunities wherever you need be. So I say we're going to have a chip up here. Chat exploding right now. The chat is on tilt. So we'll do a color up here with blinds. 10,000, 20,000. Again, first place 1770. Second 1220. Maybe here if we get a chip up, like all of a sudden this maybe these chip stacks won't look as daunting as Will. Looks like he has a ton, but he's got a ton of really smaller denominations. And to be fair, yeah, he's got his opponent pretty well out chipped. I just get the feeling here MJ's just waiting to try to just get a reasonable handle in pre versus trying to play flops. All right, we got 9-7 versus King-Queen, so I would bet my life he's playing this one here, Ron.
I think so.
Steam Dola introducing Steam Dola's Heads-Up Crusher course, only $199.99.
Yeah, I think one of the fallacies.
For some great innovative ideas here in the chat.
Yeah, I think one of the fallacies in heads up is people waiting for that perfect hand, because when you get it and you go aggressive, the other person's just going to fold. So you really got to adapt the way you play in heads up. It truly is a different game than when you're 6, 7, 8 handed.
Yeah,
or even 5 handed.
You're just having to play more hands, and there's all right 8-3. Will definitely with an auto raise. And now, I mean, I'm just raising every hand if I'm Will. Like, it just doesn't even matter to me. Like, if you're just going to get a fold out, it's just a free 40K every time on the button.
You're going to choke him out.
Because I just know, like, if I'm getting an opponent playing back at me, then I know most likely he's got a hand and can try to best assess later and see if maybe MJ gets more comfortable and changes gears here at some point, because it's just going to be hung out to dry if you wait too long for a primo, and probably not going to get action on it. So, all right, see what we got here. Ace-10, all right. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit, probably too big of a raise here for Will with 6 high to continue. Yeah, I agree with John. Just easy min raise, anything, and then if he plays back, figure it out then. So, yeah, I mean, that just becomes kind of the optimal strategy, raise all in. And I'd probably even go a step further, that if I get like a primo, I might just overshove just in the hope that maybe I get a call here just because I'm more likely to play a big pot than to tangle up with the small ones. Just a thought, but still a lot of room to make up here. Heads up at the final table, the $150 Mega Stack Freezeout, 38 entries. $5,700 here in the prize pool. Storm was eliminated in 8th. Ed finished 7th with a $100 finish. Gary 6th for $450 finish. Kristen knocked out for $520. Aaron 4th for $720, and All Pure out in 3rd here for $940. All right, 7-5, 9-8. Okay, here we go. This might have had some nerves in there. We'll have a limp and a call, and we'll get a flop here between these guys. I happen to like double check because like my initials are MJ, so I just keep saying like MJ this, MJ that. I'm trying to like remember that's the player's name there in C10. So now that I put that out there, I'm just open to getting trolled now, Ryan. That's
Yep.
yeah, heads up, such a different animal here. Magellan, how much do you typically tip the dealer after cashing? Is it a certain percentage of the cash? Everybody's got a different line of thought. Sometimes it's like 10% after 5. It's been a while since I've won a tournament, but I usually try to be like, I played a ton of live poker as of recently, but. All right, whoa, we got an all-in, and, oh, man, Will had to raise. I thought maybe he might gamble with them, but. Anders, yeah, I've got customary to do like 5% of your winnings. Reasonable. Epic heads-up showdown here. Shout out Dustin getting a spin here with the production.
Yep.
Like you're figuring it out.
Doing a great job. I'm actually about
It's
to
like
sign
riding a
off just
bike.
to-
Sometimes you're going to stumble a little bit. You're going to be surprised by stuff, but it's, yeah. If you get in a groove, it works, man.
I'm actually going to go ahead and sign off so I can
Yeah,
help
I was
him
going to
out.
say,
Just-
like, you hung on longer than I thought here, right?
Yeah, I kind of got wrapped up watching it, and so I was like, well, why not? So
Yeah.
now go help Dustin out and get this thing wrapped up. But thank you for everyone that's watching, and please like the video and subscribe. And we certainly appreciate everybody. And
Don't forget
looking forward to getting Dallas open soon.
Text TCH Dallas to 2100 to join our text list for updates regarding TCH Dallas. And yeah, that is the best way to get any new updates.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do about From the Felt, getting that going again.
Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Fleetwood Mac, 7th place, take $100 after $150. Well, they agreed to pay out 7th after when they got down to 7-handed. So that was not the original intention, but once we got down to the bubble, they elected just to take $100 off the top of the prize pool and pay out 7th. So yeah, hey, that's not generally standard, but it's once the table has a choice to be able to do all that good stuff. So. All right, we got a limp here by MJ and Will. Going to raise up here out of the big blind as he should with the old 7 Dewey. And we're going to get a shove back here by MJ. So maybe it was MJ leveling us here, man? Was he trying to lure us into a false sense of how he was going to play heads up and folding everything? But either way, he may have sensed that Will was making a move. And limp, raise, shove. Will ambitious here with the 7 Dewey. How you guys doing here on Sunday here? If you haven't checked in, let us know where you are watching from. Sorry, there was a shout out from Somerset, New Jersey. We got kind of wrapped up in conversation. I'm we had somebody out in Knittville watching in. The mayor of Knittville was approving everything. watching from Austin, says Trey. And let us know where you're tuning in from all around the globe here on TCH Live. Eight five, no action here. Heads up as Jessica out in Virginia, Mark in Cedar Park, Harold out in Connecticut, David signing off, watching from north from Dallas, Salina, Texas, Fleetwood Mac in Utah. Queen 10 versus Queen 7 here. Raise up here by Will on the button. All right, is gutter ball here for MJ, and I think Will might be able to pick this up with a bet. MJ might call here, though, as Kevin Tretlin says, MJ, I'm watching from Iowa. What town did you grow up in? I grew up in a little town called Postville, Iowa. You can Google this. We literally had, like, the largest immigration rate of the country back in, like, 2008. So I had a really kind of diverse knowledge base as to how ice worked and kind of saw it firsthand before the debates about, the wall and all those kind of things came up. It was an interesting place to grow up, man. It grew up around. We had Jewish rabbis walking the streets in this little town in Iowa for a kosher meat packing plant. It was. That's how I got through poker. All right, so David in Mobile, Alabama. Mobile. All right, Queen 3, Ace 5. MJ trying to chip away here at this chip advantage. And we'll pick it on up here as Will still here with 2-1 chip advantage. I think these guys are looking for just an all-in pre to get it all settled. Kevin saying, I grew up in Charles City, small town. I ended up moving here in the Quad Cities. Charles City is about like hour 15, hour and a half. In that northern Iowa area. We got an ace-queen. We've got a 10-9. Will had raised on the button and then got shoved on, and it just can't continue here with 10 high. John Zimmer looking for a cooler hand. I think we all are kind of looking for a cooler hand here at this point. 3 hours of final table action here as we continue. Jack 9, King 8. Call here on the button as blinds 15,000, 30,000. Should speed up the action here. Two pair here for MJ, top pair here for Will. This could get very splashy as bet at 35 here is get a check call. MJ in the lead, but give some straight outs here to Will. Also, a 7 or an 8 would make him a higher two pair. And a king as well. Tuning in here from Northern California. Yeah, we're going to get a shove all in. So Will can win it if he gets an 8, a 7, or a king. He's not going to get out either. MJ has doubled up. And his patience paying off as he flops two pair and gets Will to double him up. Whew. A little bit of post-flop play. I think folks have been looking for this kind of hand matchup, and a bit of a cooler there for Will. Just tough for him to try to perceive his opponent to have any kind of different two-pair in that spot. Whew. That is, tables have turned as now Will going to be around, just around 10 big blinds. Here with the blinds being 15, 30, the 30 big blind ante. Wow, that is a great point here by Gina Lees. I just heard if the stream gets to 100 likes, they'll chop the money. Wink. Yeah, I think that happens. If we get 100 likes, I would never mislead our audience, but GDS is horrible all in by Will. You just don't need to take these risks with MJ's exploitative style. Well, he doesn't know. He doesn't probably know that he was folding like some pretty decent hands. So I don't know if he can operate under that assumption. It's maybe the. I think you can definitely make the case that he could have maybe played that slower, but yeah, you get heads up and you got a top pair and a straight draw. It's tough to not feel like you might be up against a better hand value, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, I'm not sure, Zach. Usually we do color up the chips here by this point. There's one break that happens in between the start and before the last level of the re-entry period where we do color up the black chips. And then the only time we have a break after that is once we go to the final table. So usually by then, those denominations are still in need. So, all right, we got an all-in, a king nine and an ace four. MJ could win it here with a king or a nine or a heart. He's got a straight draw. All his cards still live. Ace high still good. And ace high is going to double up. So now we have evened up the chip stack. Evened up the chip stack here as Will doubles up with ace high. MJ trying to gamble with king nine. He flopped himself an okay draw. But bricks the river. And we're going to be trading chips back and forth as boy, this is the battle that will never end. Here on TCH Live Sunday edition. Still here in the main room tonight. We've got a couple of 1-2 no limits going. 1-3 no limit with players waiting on the list for that. And tournament final table here on TCH Live. What a day. What a day here, guys. Can you believe it? You can follow me on Instagram at HoopsMike or on Twitter at HoopsMike. You can follow us, tch.atx, if you haven't followed it already. I just looked down and realized my socks aren't matching, so I think that's bad luck, so that's probably why we're in this predicament right now. But here we go. You ask and you shall receive. We had this on a 10-minute delay, so the process of the color-ups was just about to happen. So we will get floor manager James here for the color-up. So we'll get definitely get all the purples off, and we'll get some of the yellows off here as well as we go 15-30 with a 30K big blind ante. All right, we're full down here by the button. MJ probably would have defended here with queen nine, so All right, we'll keep it going here as 7-6 threes. And a shove all in here by Will is getting no action from 7-6 high. Third. Oh, no, we got an open fold here from Will with 7-6. It would have been reasonable to limp there in that spot, but about even. Heads up. John B says, you guys don't play Big O, don't in that. Yeah, that's Big O is played around here. Definitely in San Antonio for sure. Pot Limit Omaha exploding out in Houston. I think San Antonio definitely. We were getting some Big O tables going before the shutdown back in March. And, well, that is a pretty good flop there for MJ. Bottom pair and a flush draw. Gianelli says, can we get them to take a shot after each round that doesn't see a flop to loosen up their play? I don't think we can mandate that. I would probably think there's some legal protections that players don't necessarily have to ingest alcohol if the house feels like they should. But I like where your heart's at. I know it comes from a good place of just trying to get some action here. I don't think we could legislate that, though. That be very unprofessional. Dakota, Dakota. What was the buy? It was a $150 mega stack Freezeout. All right, MJ here has. Looks like I got an open fold, so Will here on the button with 4-3, and just gonna fold it. Magic Gaming, if you were in this tournament, would you drink? No, not really. With kind of the mass, it's not really the vibe I'm looking for. If I'm gonna have a couple of beers and play a tournament, and I generally feel sharper when I don't drink. I find my decisions to be more consistent, whereas, yeah, I'm drinking IPAs, so you can get some erratic decision making. 2 or 3 can follow your instincts when your instincts are dead wrong. And sometimes that's when I get lucky, though, but that's... Yeah, I'm not... some people can do it. I'm not a huge advocate for it, but... All right, limp on the button here by MJ. Raise up here with the old 8 Dewey now here for Will. Some people like to. It's just never been my jam, man. Aaron McAvoy says, let's go, MJ. Don't fold ace queen. Keno Savage says, don't drink and play. Don't drink and do a lot of things. Don't drink and go through your old text messages. Don't drink and view your ex's Instagram. Don't drink and 3-bet ace jack. We could have a whole PSA list here. Snot bubbles. Wow, alcohol impairs your judgment. I heard that. The science seems to be out. I don't know. We're not at a point where we're listening to scientists anymore. So I had a scientist tell me alcohol definitely improves your ability to do everything. No, I kid. I tease. No shots fired here, as. Got a dealer change here. Maybe a lucky dealer change. JD. Coming on in, we'll spread that deck out here as we continue. Blinds 15,000, 30,000, and 30K big blind ante. Kendra says someone has issues. No, I wouldn't say I have issues. It's just like It was good. It was a good time, and then it just had to end, and unfortunate. I got no salt, that's for sure. It wasn't a bad situation by any means, but it's like, hey, you have a good time with anybody, remember the good stuff. Still folds all around. I don't know if you guys want to break down my love life. It is not a very fascinating tales. No real scarring stuff. Nothing really bad or salacious. Just kind of like, yeah, it went a while, then it didn't. And just keep moving on, keep on keeping on. All right, 10-3, King 9. Will probably going to raise this on the button. And I'm going to pick up the pot. Thanks, Kendra. Says, well, I like the commentary. Thank you very much. Make sure to hit subscribe. If you're enjoying it, we run streams not just on Sunday. Monday, we have our 5-5 No Limit. Thursday, we have our 1-3 Match to Stack. No Limit Hold'em cash game. All of our archives available and highlights dropping several times a week. Give us a subscribe. Is up to 9,010. The word just keep getting out there. All right, Jacks versus Jack 7. Will with a real hand. Our first real big hand here on the button. Don't think we'll get any action here from MJ. But I have been wrong before. As not going to call out of the big blind. Will here with the slight advantage over about 200K. MJ right there within striking. Snot bubbles. Players don't need to drink. The commentators do, though. I like that thought. Depends on how long the stream is. Especially if I'm just near the tail end and I know I won't have to go for longer. I think it's sort of like... It keeps things light and interesting. I just try not to say anything that gets us canceled. Have to issue an apology through the Notes app on Instagram. I'm sorry for what I said in the moment. My comments were taken out of context. But now after some deep soul searching, I have realized the error of my ways and look forward to showing my progress as a human being. Don't forget to hit the like button. I'm sorry. That's my impression of every apology that seems to be put out there. I have to give credit because Doug Stanhope recently opened a special with kind of in that same vein. So I can't say that bit was mine. The phrasing was unique, but I got to tip the cap to Doug Stanhope, who kind of constructed that joke. MJ, not a believer in the 9 Triz. Not a believer in the 9 Triz. I can't believe this. That is 9 Triz is in the high pantheon of TCH hand. Levi says, YouTube video, we need to talk, and a shot of you on the couch with tearful eyes. My arms crossed, my body language crouched forward, and looking in despair. A deep look and a heartfelt apology as we're getting all in. Jedi says, Captain Segway strikes again. Absolutely. All right, 15K, 30K. We're gonna have a limp on the button here by MJ. I hope that made you laugh. I was very proud of that bit. Raise up here by Will. Get a call here by MJ on the button. Boom. Post flop play. You asked for it, you got it. Yeah, chop's not bad here. Sometimes you just want to play it out too. So, top pair here for MJ. Will here with King Jack high. Slight chip disadvantage. And we're going to get a bet of 75K, a shove of MJ. Will probably going to have to fold out here, as even with overcards, there's just no reason to continue. But, yeah, nice attempt, though. It's hand kind of played itself out. You know, I never apologize and wait for the next story to come out. I mean, I would generally apologize if I feel like I've made a mistake. Like, I think I've meandered into that hot stove area where we say not to talk about politics. And I express some views and that were just sort of related to culturally, and then it just kind of dipped into that. So I did apologize for that, because I think we're all surrounded by all the stuff that we want 3 to 4 hours where another person talking about something, especially when it's dude talking and announcer man. So 15K, 30K, 30K big blind Annie in the battle between MJ and Will. Keep it going. Keep the faith alive here, chat. I know we'll get to the finish. No, thank you, David. Not even touching that one. All right, and a fold up and MJ looking for the knockout blow here to Will. Alan Hatala said, what's up? What's up, TCH? Like always, giving love from Bay Area, California. And always be safe, Mike. That's how he typed it out. I'm not. Oh, what? Oh, cooler alert. Yeti cooler of the night. 8s versus Kings. This is going all in. There's no other way around it. MJ here with some Cowboys. Gonna put in the raise. He'll shove. He'll call. 8s versus Kings. MJ with a chance to win it here. Heads up. Here we go. Looking for the run out here for MJ. We get our board readout. What do we got here? We got ace, king, 6. So he's down to runner, 8. Not going to get it. MJ has sealed it. 3 of a kind king. She is the winner of our Sunday edition of the $150 Mega Stack Freeze Out. Hung on for dear life. Waited patiently. Picked up hands. Got things in the right spots. And he's going to take home $1,770. Good job by Will. Finish this with $1,220. And that is it. Here for TCH Live. Join Bart Hansen tomorrow for 5-5 no limit cash here on this channel. Don't forget to hit like on the way out. And thank you as always here for joining us. Good night.